Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics.
Tanner White and Kalamazoo. Hey folks, good afternoon and thanks for joining us here at Angel Field. It is a huge one today. I'm Tanner White, Kalamazoo football alum, class of 2022. Joining me again is Sean Massa, hot off of my favorite personal partner debut ever. You got to witness the Calvin game here, and I think you've chosen another great one today.
Yeah, I mean, this one it's a challenge for the Hornets, to say the absolute least. Hope 18, and they dominate every single aspect of the field, especially in the trenches where championship teams are made. For Hope, it's going to be a really simple equation. Do what you do. For Kalamazoo, it's going to be a simple equation. Air the ball out, spread the ball out, and try to get Hope to make mistakes. Doesn't happen a lot, but try.
It is an awesome tradition in a rivalry matchup between these two, wherein the team that wins each year gets to take the traveling trophy with them, the wooden shoes, get to bring it back with them for the game next year. And this rivalry is dating back to the year 1910, before World War I. You got the two oldest schools in the conference. I truly cannot speak enough about the rivalry. You'll hear more and more about it as this game unfolds, and maybe you'll see some of that animosity unfolding on the field. I talked to Kalamazoo College head coach Jamie Zorbo about just that. The history, the rivalry, the last couple of times Kalamazoo won, plus what they've got to do today to take down these nationally ranked Dutch. We'll hear from Coach Zorbo with all of those historical implications of today's game, and then we'll be just about back in time for kickoff here in the Zoo. Tanner White and Sean Massa as the Hornets meet the Flying Dutchmen of Hope College. Tanner White and Kalamazoo College head coach Jamie Zorbo down on Angel before kickoff here for homecoming. Coach, a lot has happened since we last met. You win the Calvin game on a legacy 2-minute drive from Josh Nichols in the offense. You travel to Olivet and go down 45-12 for the first loss of the year. Then the MIAA Universal bye week hits. Did you and the team get a little chance to breathe, let your head stop spinning, soak in this whole first half of the year, eventful as it was?
Yeah, I would say we spent more time thinking about the Olivet game and how badly we performed in that game in all phases. That was really below our expectations for that game, and disappointing to come away with a loss. Obviously a loss, but certainly the way we lost that game kind of left a bad taste in our mouth, and we had to put that to bed and really focus on getting better, addressing some of the things that we felt we weren't quite up to standard on, and then start preparing for this game today. And the reality is, I've been telling everybody, asked me, you guys ready? And we've been preparing for this game for about a year now. So if we're not ready, I don't know what to say.
And it's the battle for the wooden shoes today as Hope College comes in. No secret, the two oldest schools in the MIAA, both founded before the Civil War. The rivalry dates back before World War I. What does all of the history mean to you, the team, and the program?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, it's a special game for us, the opportunity to play in a rival game like this, but for a trophy, a traveling trophy like the one we have between these two schools is kind of special. I love the history behind it. It's special when we're able to win the shoes, and I want our kids to be able to experience that feeling. So we talk about it. We don't make too big of a deal out of it. We got to keep the focus on us and do the things that we need to do to be successful, and treat this just like any other game we play, and not get too tight because of who we're playing or what we're playing for.
I want to flash back to the last couple of times you won in this rivalry. Can you recall who was at quarterback, what sort of the formulas were for that, and some of the memories you have that you said you may never forget?
Yeah, Alex White was our quarterback in those two games that we won. In 2014, I remember, we hadn't won very much that season, and we just talked about coming together as a team and playing for each other. And we had a really inspired performance. It was the last game of the season. We had to claw our way back. We ended up taking the lead with about 2 minutes or so left on the clock in the fourth quarter, and Hope marched down and scored in about 40 seconds and took back the lead. And then we proceeded to get a great kickoff return that set us, and they Hope got a personal foul that set us up with great field position. We had about 40 seconds left. First play goes to Alex Dietrich, takes it to 38 yards to the 3-yard line, and we got 4 plays to try to score and take the lead, and we ended up running the ball. We couldn't get the ball in the end zone, and we set it up for a field goal try, and that was probably the most heart-stopping play of my life. The snap was dribbled back. The holder was able to get it down. The kick was low because of the process. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage by a Hope defensive lineman, and then it hit the crossbar and went through the uprights, and we somehow won that game. And then the following year, I remember Octavia Sanders, who was a great corner for us, All-American player for us, had 2 interceptions for touchdowns in that game. And, we definitely did a great job that day retaining the shoes.
What this tells me, football is such a special game. How these memories can be absolutely burned in your mind. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. They're special moments.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's an undefeated and nationally ranked Dutch team in front of you today, right? As if it weren't obvious, I'll dip into the Socratic method a little bit. Is this a well-coached team? Do they like to run the ball, and do they do a great job stopping the run, right?
Yes, and yes. All yeses. Fantastic team. I mean, they're playing at a very high level on both sides of the ball. I think, obviously, the statistics show that. Offensively, they got a lot of guys that are running the ball at a high level for them. They're very good up front, very physical. And they know what they want to do, and they're able to get it done. And they're able to hit you with some big passing plays too if you overplay the run. So they're executing at a very high level offensively. Defensively, I mean, they fly to the ball. There's not much of a weakness anywhere on their defense. They play at a really high level up front. They play with amazing effort, and they're great tacklers. Very, very well coached across the board. And then special teams are going to play real hard. We know we're going to get great effort, and we're going to have to match and surpass that effort on our side of the ball.
I know you absolutely love to focus on your own side, on your football team, as you should. Let's do that keys to victory today for homecoming.
Okay, well, we've been talking all last 2 weeks about love and faith, love for each other, and belief in, that we can play in a game like this, and we can win a game like this, that we can execute the game plan that we've been working so long and so hard on for a while now, and that we belong. And we need to let those two things really fuel our effort. We've had some alumni speakers coming in and speak to our team, and Jim Heath, who was one of our most prominent alumni and was a head football coach at Kalamazoo College back in the early 80s, spoke to our team early in the week and talked about swarm for 6. Every play in football lasts between 5.5 and 6 seconds. And if you average, on average, a number of plays in a game that you'll get it somewhere around 65. So you total all that up, it comes up to about 6 minutes. So we need to give perfect effort for 6 minutes. We don't have to be perfect in our execution, but we better be perfect with our effort. And that needs to be fueled by our love for one another and our faith.
Thank you so much, Coach, and good luck today in an absolutely huge one here for homecoming with the Hope Flying Dutchmen. Not a whole lot more to say. Love, faith, belief. Sometimes those are buzzwords, right? Not today. It means so much more in the rivalry game, in one of the biggest games of Coach Zorbo's life. I don't know if he would admit it, but that's just the reality.
Yeah, and this is one of those games, the word faith believes a lot. It means so much more because when you're playing a team like Hope, a team that has controlled the rivalry since the turn of time, a team that has controlled this year and been sensational on both sides of the ball, a team that is expecting to walk in here and just absolutely roll over the Hornets, you have to believe that you can play in it. You have to believe that one-on-one you match up with a Hope team that, hey, no one else may believe it, but if that sideline believes it, you can do it.
And you're going to get this opening kickoff in just mere moments. I think we timed it up lovely. That interview with Coach. As always, we thank Coach Zorbo for that. And for truly, he's not much for coach speak. Coach Zorbo speaks from the heart. If you haven't felt that yet, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want coach speak in one of these games. As we said, it's different right now. You need to believe. You need that coach speak to go away, and it needs to just be, hey, let's do it for each other.
Ready, ready, swarm. Avery Roberts to kick it off. The Hope Flying Dutch. They're going to watch this first kickoff float out of bounds. It's a good decision from the deep returner, number 3, Tyler Amos. Amos going to factor into this one in a lot of ways. He's a return ace and also the fantastic second part of the 1-2 punch. Of course, Chance Strickland is the guy that we're going to be watching in the backfield first.
Yeah, I mean, Strickland, anywhere you go, anyone you talk to in the MIAA will say Chance Strickland is mean. He runs like he hates the ground, gives you an Isaiah Pacheco kind of feel, where he's just going to run and he's going to run into you and he's going to make you tackle him. 630 yards in the year and 13 touchdowns, averages $125, and they're going to rely on him a lot today.
You said it. They're going to start in the pistol. Lots of spread looks for the Dutch. They've got 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. They're going to go play action on the very first play of the game. Take a shot. Ben Wellman, complete for a huge chunk. And this might be out the gate. It's a touchdown. On the first play from scrimmage, Grant Holzer goes 65 and out the gate.
And that just sucked the energy right out of this place. You kind of felt a little bit like Kalamazoo's starting to feel it. They're starting to feel the homecoming vibe. And you know the mantra with Hope is that they're going to run the ball. They're going to ground and pound you to death almost. Well, you run a play-action pass. You trust your quarterback in Wellman, who doesn't throw a lot, delivers a perfect ball, was on the back shoulder of the receiver, but nobody there. There was only one safety, gravitated other side of the field, and no one was expecting that. And just like that, I mean, wow.
That is a whoa. You got to stop. Take a breath after this. The extra point is good. 65 yards on the first play from scrimmage. Wellman on the year coming in, 3 passing touchdowns in 5 games, and he's got one 10 seconds into this one.
Yeah, I think Hope's starting to feel like maybe they can get this game in their favor, get their senior quarterback with a little more confidence, get him healthy, get him ready to throw the ball the rest of the year. This is a team that obviously has had big wins, including that monstrous one over Alma and a big-time win that dropped Alma out of the rankings. But this is a team that they feel like the running game's there, the trenches are there. If they can get the passing game in that same kind of aspect, look out for Hope going on.
Carson Dynas gave chase there He's the outstanding all-everything middle linebacker from Kalamazoo. You hear a lot about him, but covering a receiver like Grant Holzer, who's got the most experience out of anybody in that receiving room. He's got the most catches, averages over 19 yards a catch. Wow, very difficult assignment.
I mean, I don't think Hope thought anything like this was going to happen. I don't think Kalamazoo thought anything like this was going to happen, where 10 seconds in, it's 7-0, you're giving the ball right back. But here's an answer drive. You're going to have to rely on your playmakers a lot. This ball's got to get out of the hands of Josh Nichols fast.
Absolutely does. Caden Balkin to kick away. The junior goes 5'11", 200. Fielded by Lucas Hannafin around the 13-yard line. Hannafin going to pick his way through. Should be up around the 30. And ran into a couple of Dutchmen. 42 Owen Graham should be in on the special teams tackle.
As we said, got to get the ball out quick. This is a Hope team where you heard Kalamazoo talk about it before. You've talked about it, Tanner. Everyone knows their defense is one of the best in the country. Not even a touchdown a game defensively against. You got to get this ball out quickly because they win games in the trenches. Well, this offensive line's got to hold. They really got to lock up. 15 sacks allowed on the year.
Josh Nichols, the senior QB in the gun. Gunning for history today as well. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get to it. They're going to go RPO very first play. Got a man open. Hannafin, medium gain. I like that on first down just to get something.
As we said, you just want to get yourself in manageable situations. You want to get easy completions. It's a Kalamazoo team that doesn't run the ball extraordinarily well. You want to make yourself in third down short, second down and mediums.
Hornets with a little bit of tempo. They're going to pitch out to Sheldon Riley. He's not going to get the edge. That goes down for a loss.
I mean, you got to look at this game if you're Kalamazoo and think to yourself, how are we going to get points on the board against a Hope team that outweighs us and outnumbers us in the trenches? It's not really going to be by running the ball. You got to air this thing out and really trust your playmakers. This game's going to be won and lost by Hannafin and Spates.
Third down and 8. Hornets have been showing more split back looks the last couple of weeks. That's what they're out in now. You got early movement. Don't think the snap came off in time. Nichols drops. Got some room. Still looking to throw it. High for Hannafin. Incomplete. And no flags.
Yeah, Hope's playing a lot of man coverage, and right there you kind of saw they blitzed the linebacker and just blew up the offensive line. It looked like there might have been some movement. No snap, of course, so no penalty flag, and just like that, I mean, if you're going to have to really, really lock up the focus on those blitzing looks through the middle.
I wonder if Coach Sturzma, he was a little bit animated on that sideline. I wonder if he's saying, oh, we really got to finish those sacks when we've got him in the pocket. The two-punter look for Kalamazoo. This should be a fun one. Ball on the right hash. You got options here. They go to the left-footed punter, Jack Duggins. He's going to get it on the ground. Roll should be very good. Very, very, oh my goodness. Oh, they're batting it forward to the 9-yard line. Punting highlights. I'm so here for it.
Got to give you something to feel good about. I mean, 10 seconds, touchdown, and then a 3 and out. You got to feel good about something. You're pinning Hope almost as deep as you can. You really couldn't get a much better punt from that spot deep in your own territory. So this is a time where the Kalamazoo defense really has to focus up. I'm interested to see, does Hope go back to the play action RPO looks, or do they go to the bread and butter, what they're known for, and just give the ball to number 9?
Yeah, you got two options. Apparently they're both pretty good.
Some would say.
You got both backs in the backfield right now, sometimes known as the pony personnel with one tight end. They're going to run Tyler Amos. Oh, no. Wellman kept it. Rocking back the other way. He breaks multiple tackles. The ball's out. Fumbled. Oh, who's got it?
That's going Kalamazoo's way.
You've got one official closest saying down by contact.
He was not. I don't think he was down. I'm looking back at it right now. It doesn't look like he was down, but wow, that's a break caught if they're saying that.
You've got the head judge, I believe, who blew it down. The head linesman, Corey DeGroot.
It depends. It looked like that right knee could have been down, but it's very, very close. That's a break for Hope.
Now they can exhale a little bit. Would have been way backed up. They want to take another shot here. Wellman got a lot of time. They're looking to Jackson Mitchell. Mitchell broke it up. Get that out of here. Intended to Johnny Rowan Blanton.
just through the hands, too. I mean, you're seeing Kalamazoo. They expect the run. They're trying to kind of gravitate towards the box for any hope to stop Chance Strickland from having a day and going north of 200 again. But in the aspect of that, they're pulling the safeties in. They're kind of leaving over the top open, and Hope sees that. They're looking to air it out again. They got one-on-one coverage 30 yards down the field, just the ball was underthrown by maybe a half yard.
They do have a third down and real short. That's why you were able to take the shot earlier. They'll hand for Strickland. Left side. He's going to fall forward for just enough. Raymond Cargill to polish him off.
Yeah, I mean, third down and half a yard. You're very comfortable giving it to Chance Strickland and basically saying, hey, go get us some. He got you 4 right there. So you're really not going to complain about that look.
Ball's out to the 23-yard line, first down and 10 upcoming. Amarion Hall and Ronnie Spencer, the 2 Kalamazoo corners. Jackson Mitchell and Kamani Jones, your 2 safeties up top. And they want to keep taking shots. Wellman going to drill it in, middle of the field, caught. Holzer.
Right now it just looks like Hope is just having whatever they want on offense. They're getting whatever looks they want. And as we talked about, Kalamazoo's kind of gravitate towards the line of scrimmage. It's pulling everyone away and leaving the lanes open. That's a beautifully placed ball, too, by Wellman between 3 defenders.
Wellman slinging this thing early on. And ball's loose. He's going to have to improvise. Of course, he's no stranger to it. Wellman with a big chunk down the sideline.
It's a great blocking shed, though, by the DB on the play because that's one-on-one. If he gets past whatever on the outside, that's a house call all the way, and that's a drop snap 60-yard touchdown run, and that would be just detrimental at this point.
Yeah, that's one thing you cannot do. Wellman's got the longest run on the year for the Dutch, 80. Nobody with another run over 50 yards on the year for them, believe it or not. Sticking in the same 11 personnel. Wellman wants to keep slinging. This is closer to the line of scrimmage. Amarion Hall, like the low tackle to wrap him up and grab cloth.
Yeah, Hope's got to do something on defense. I'm not sure what looks they're giving specifically, but Wellman's doing whatever he wants.
Wellman, longer drop this time. He lofts Hall in coverage. How did he catch it?
I'll tell you how that ball was placed perfectly, where he put it up top where the kids couldn't touch it, and he trusts his 6'5 receiver. I mean, Vanderveen's kind of giving remnants of that Calvin game with the 6'7", but 6'5", across the middle, one-on-one coverage. The height advantage is there. Put it up top, and he was the only one that could grab that.
Yeah, you just made me flash back and get sort of some PTSD from Luke Mishmerheisen from Calvin. An animal on the deep balls. Now they'll run Strickland. Strickland, one cut in the middle, one cut back outside, bouncing off 2, bowling ball, and going to be close to the 5-yard line.
He was just so patient on that run, too. I mean, it was a pull play, and the hole opened up. Strickland not only is powerful, he's not only 6'2", 235, but showed some great patience on that run. It just doesn't seem like Kalamazoo has an answer right now. You try to gravitate in the middle, you try to stop the run, and Wellman has shown that, hey, even though I may not have shown on the stat sheet all year, I can beat you and I will beat you so far. And then now you got to start respecting him. That's going to open a lot for Chance Strickland.
The 1st and goal coming. They'll go for Strickland first. The nation's leader in rushing touchdowns. He's close, but I think they're going to keep him out at least on the first play.
I believe he's short by a half yard. This is the point where you just go Strickland, Strickland, and Strickland again if you're needed to on 4th. If you give him the ball 3 times from this spot, 1 including 4th down, he's going to get a yard. I would have to imagine that's how Hope's feeling right now. I would be shocked if they turn to Wellman here and say air it out. At the very least, I'd probably just tell Wellman to fall forward, but they're okay.
They're in the pistol. You got a couple more tight ends out there. A lot of big bodies. Strickland to fall forward. This time, gonna get enough. Touchdown, Dutch.
I mean, they go to him in the red zone. That's really all you can ask for Chance Strickland. That's 14 touchdowns on the year. It kind of gives you a reminiscence of a Detroit Lions-esque offensive. Once you get down there, you got a bowling ball you can give the football to. And once again, from the 1-yard line to see patience like that from Strickland, he's showing that he's not only just that 6'2", 235, running back.
One through the air on a huge play, one through the ground, grinding it out. Now the snaps muff, fire situation, and the defense holds. It's a stop of sorts at the very end.
It's not much, but it does something, and you pinned them down. They go on a 91-yard touchdown drive. His offense needs to get something going, and I know it's easier said than done against a Hope defense that brings pressure, brings a lot of it off the edge, and has allowed, once again, just south of a touchdown a game. But you're going to need to do something and try to draw something up, get in the hands of Spates and Hannafin. That's how this game's going to be remotely close if you're Kalamazoo. You're not going to run the ball on a Hope team that controls the trenches versus everyone they play in the MIAA. You're going to have to get the ball quick out. We need some bubble screens, quick plays, RPOs, something just to gravitate the defense outwards. If you can get them to respect your passing game with Nichols, then maybe you can get some holes inside and between the tackles. But it's not looking like the run game is going to be there all night. You're really going to have to rely on Josh Nichols. And you talk about that record. Well, if you want a chance to win this game, he's probably going to need to break it tonight.
Yeah, didn't get a chance to mention that pregame, but you're exactly right. Nichols coming in needing 313 yards for the all-time passing record in Kalamazoo. One passing touchdown as well for the second most in a career. Almost all of the major records are in play here. Spate's going to let this go through the end zone. Caden Balkin, touchback. The total touchdowns from Nichols go like this, right? 57 passing, 3 rushing, also 1 receiving on a little Philly special. That could be fun. I think the wrinkles will be coming, but maybe not quite yet, right? Little too early in the game.
Right now, if you're Kalamazoo, you need to play loose. You have nothing to lose tonight. Well, what's the worst that can happen? Hope comes in here and proves why they're the number 18 team in the country and possibly deserve higher, prove that they're one of the best, if not the best, in the MIAA and trying to win another conference championship. But best comes to best. You come out here, you put up a fight. You're either close or you're going to win.
Nichols wants to get it out quick. That's a good completion. Braden Lavis, positives on first down.
You have to do that with the speed off the edge that Hope brings. I mean, you have to get the ball out quick. So right there, Nichols, maybe a step, and has got rid of the football.
Lavis, an underappreciated guy, but gets a first touch there. Nichols to drill it into Clark. Incomplete. What a break on the ball, too.
That's their definition of a shot right there. 2nd down and 1, and Hope rushed 4, and they barreled through the line and forced the ball out quickly. That's their definition of let's take a shot. Now it's interesting. Do you trust the run to get a yard?
It is Connor Bell in the backfield with Nichols right now, the number 2 RB. They're going to bring Clark in, might have him insert to run behind it. That's what they do. Connor Bell picking his way through. First down, Nets.
You don't need much. You just need 1. He got 3, but it's weird holding your breath on a 3rd down and 1 and saying, hey, can we get a yard, given how good the Hope defense is, less than 55 yards on the ground against per game.
The Hornets going to come out with a bunch now on the 1st and 10. Nichols will look that way. Little high, Jonas Spates. With the size he's got out there, if he's not hauling it in, probably nobody else is.
Nichols saw the pressure through the middle. He saw his back step up in pass pro, and I think he kind of knew he was going to have to get rid of that ball quick, and his feet were just dancing a little bit in the pocket, and that's stuff you see from Bo Nix, and that's stuff you see from quarterbacks that just seem to airmail easy plays.
The 2nd down and 10, and movement. Oh, could have had a free play maybe. It's a shame because I would have loved to see the shot to Spates. Could Nichols have launched this thing like maybe to the end zone?
I mean, just panically launched it all the way to the 30, just seemingly with the flick of a wrist. So you never know. It very well could have made it inside the 10, especially if he has time on a free play. But that's what's going to need to happen for Kalamazoo. Those self-inflicted wounds from Hope are going to be a big, big aspect. You get free yards, you have to make them pay and continue to move the chains.
Arguably the biggest issue Calvin had when Kalamazoo took them down. Nichols wants to drop again. Get it out quick for Riley. That is snuffed immediately. That's a fantastic tackle.
It's a tough one right there because Nichols had a man but didn't have the time. Hope is just moving through on the inside of this offensive line almost at free will.
Cole Lumen just made a really difficult one-on-one tackle there with a running back. That's tough for any middle linebacker to cover. Clark, the tight end, is the number 3 receiver. They got trips to the left. Nichols looks that way. Gonna roll. Track down. Sacked.
that speed off the edge, to say the absolute least. Austin Harvey just blitzed from the edge. We talked about how Hope likes to bring looks where they bring their DBs in and they send them off the edge to kind of break up the line. Well, he was almost untouched blitzing through right there.
What was a once promising drive going to stall out after the 1 first down by Braden Levis. Back in the two-punter look. This worked fabulously well last time. What is the adjustment from the Dutch? Well, we'll find out. They're showing some pressure. Got 10 up on the line. It's to the left-footed Duggins again. Got off a beauty last time. This roll is going to be less. I think you'll live with it from a guy who probably was not planning to punt when he came here to Kalamazoo. Drive should start around the 34-yard line for the Dutch.
And it's going to be a drive that already seems like it could hold implications of the ball game. If Kalamazoo's going to get anything going, they need to get a stop first. And I know that's a lot saying this Hope offense because they move the ball well, and apparently with Ben Wellman, how he's throwing the ball today, can do it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, that's probably not something you had planned for. You thought this was going to be the Chance Strickland game, 30, 40-plus carries. They start with split backs here on the drive. Go Amos outside. Amos, the home run hitter. He's still pushing a pile. Look at that camera picture from the Nets defense. That's how many it takes to bring these guys down.
Yeah, I mean, you said home run hitter, and you could see the top end speed right there from Amos. And when you have that punch, you have the 6'2" power back, you have the 5'9" home run hitter. It really keeps the defense guessing. And then you add the fact of Ben Wellman and how good he's been passing the ball today. Hope could be in for a heck of an offensive day. Kalamazoo just kind of has to trust their personnel, but it's going to be difficult with the way it's looking.
They go 4 wide receivers this time. First time we've seen it. Run Amos outside again. Good one-on-one tackle, Jaden Johnson.
It's not going to be how do you stop it. It's going to be how do you limit it with the running game, and that's exactly what you do right there. It's a minimal gain of just 2, and you'll live with that every day if you're Kalamazoo, especially with the prowess and the way that they've proven already. I mean, 10.6 yards per carry is something.
Yeah, that is a big number. Good stop from Jaden Johnson from the defensive line spot. They're going to motion into a 3-by-1 look. Got a bubble that way. Complete. Great job using a blocker out front, and that's another good chunk.
Yeah, they saw the soft coverage on the outside. It's a beautiful play design by Hope, and once again, I mean, it's an easy completion for Wellman, but it's kind of the recipe we talked about Kalamazoo needing. The quick plays, quick outs, getting the ball out of your quarterback's hands.
That's 13 yards on the first down play. Kalamazoo has Leonard Humphreys at the right outside linebacker spot right now. They're running Amos right at him. Behind those All-American tackles, adios! Tyler Amos to the end zone. Touchdown, Dutch.
Well, he is a home run hitter, and that does work out for Hope. I mean, the top end speed right there. He made one cut to the outside, and he was gone. There was no catching him right there, and I don't think you could have drawn up a better start if you're Hope.
I think they want to win the game up front in the most simple terms possible. There was never secrets coming into this game for really from several years until right now. You knew exactly what team you were getting.
Yeah, I mean, they have just come out of the gates firing. They are not scared to let them know. Oh, my goodness.
Now a flip, and whoa. Did you have that one on your bingo card? A flip to Zach Traynor, the backup quarterback.
Hey, they got him off the near side, and I guess they just hit him in there because there's not a look where you see a backup quarterback on the line, and you knew they might be doing something just to try to get it back to a 3-touchdown extra point game, 21 after the second one was botched. But all right, that was definitely, as you said, not on the bingo card. The trickery is a little crazy.
And it is, in fact, a bit quiet.
Oh, yeah, the life has been sucked out of this stadium. It's homecoming. You welcome in this team. There's a little bit of emotion, obviously, from the rivalry. There's more because of homecoming and the beautiful day that you're getting in mid-October, which is something that you can't take for granted in Michigan.
Knock on wood here, huh?
I'm looking at the sky. I'll say it's pretty gorgeous.
Sure.
But nonetheless, you got all those emotions, and then Hope just kind of comes in here and basically just tells you to shove it.
You down, backs against the wall. When it comes down to it, what are you prepared to do about it? Let's find out.
You have to just forget that start happened. You have to just kind of realize or look at the scoreboard and think it's 0-0. It may not be. Obviously, it's not. But that's how you have to look if you're Kalamazoo right now.
Caden Balkin teed up from just inside the left hash. Hannafin to get it started. Working the return to the right. Hannafin out past the 30 again, plus returns. And sneaking in a little bit of hidden yardage with things like a broken tackle on a kickoff return can be how you get it started.
Yeah, you got to get something started. That's really it. It's very simple, and I sound like Captain Obvious saying it, but you just got to move the chains. Right now, this Hope defense has played 11 snaps. If you're going to have any chance to get past them and expose any weakness they may have, you're going to need to move the ball, get it within speed, get it in space, and just trust that you can athletically beat them.
Hornets go trips into the boundary. The one back, Sheldon Riley, fake to him. Nichols intercepted. Deep over the middle. Now a run back possible. Not going to go anyplace. Sam Cochran.
He just sat there. It was simply put up the seam, and it was thrown to the left side instead of the right. Little miscommunication maybe. That ball seemed to sail, and just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, I mean,
2 interceptions. That is only the second one on the entire year for Josh Nichols. That 10-to-1 ratio had been almost unbelievable. Now, where do you go from here defensively as your defense just hasn't been able to get a blow hardly at all?
Haven't been able to get off the field, seemingly. At some point, it's going to become a battle of attrition. They're going to get dead tired, if not already. I mean, this is the 4th time they've been on the field. We're still in the first quarter. It's been 3 touchdown drives.
Going to motion a tight end left to right. And they still want to launch this thing. It's got some room, overthrown to Holzer.
Yeah, I mean, they're trusting Wellman. That's simply put what they're saying. They're saying, Ben Wellman, go have a day. He's 5 of 7 for $161 and a touchdown. And then you got an offense that's averaging 6.8 on the ground. I mean, you can really do whatever you want here. I'd expect a run to get the 3rd and manageable and see if potentially you get a 7-8 yard run. You set it up to where you have plenty of options.
They've been going at Amarion Hall a little bit on the defensive left side. Guy who broke out in the Calvin game. A little bit of a surprise maybe. They'll motion a slot receiver. Wellman going to give to Strickland the other way. He's bullying. Close to a first down.
Yeah, he gets 9.5 yards, and now it looks like you have literally 3rd and a breath. So it's exactly what you do on 2nd and long when you have this kind of running offense. The little motion kind of pulled over the linebackers and just opened up the left side. And we talked about Strickland's patience. Well, his power showed right there. He lowered the shoulder, got an extra 3.
Vinny Fidel in as the Kalamazoo safety to the right side of your screen. Jackson Mitchell at the left still out there. He had the big PBU on the last drive. Tight end motioning again. Good chance they're going to run that way. Exactly. Strickland slips one. Tackle. See you later. Touchdown on the 3rd and short.
And they just ran. All you got to do is trust Chance Strickland, and I mean, he's having a game. He's already got 2 scores. That's 3 scores in your running back room. Strickland's got 72 yards, averaging 12 yards a carry, obviously heavily weighed by that massive 40-yard run, but still nonetheless, that is okay. That's the only word for it.
The nation's leader extending the grip on the lead in rushing touchdowns. Caden Balkin to add another extra point. Not quite the end of the first quarter. Balkin, the rainmaker, way good. 3 minutes, 26 seconds still to play in this first quarter.
Hope just looks like they're doing whatever they want, and that's pretty obvious to say, but that they are. They're averaging over 30 yards of completion. They're averaging 10 yards on the dot per rushing attempt. Defensively, they've only played maybe 15 snaps at most, and Kalamazoo's negative in the rushing yards at -7. It's going to be an interesting one if Kalamazoo can just find any weakness and put anything successful together. You heard in your interview, Tanner, talked about the last game out, it wasn't very pretty, and it didn't feel good. Well, this isn't really how you wanted to respond after that when you had a week to mull on it and just sit there.
The MIAA's universal bye week, for the first time ever, it hit for everybody. That was supposed to be sort of the great equalizer. Most of your injuries, especially the more minor ones, would sort themselves out. Everybody has a bunch of time to game plan for each other, and you would have expected really tight games for pretty much everybody around the conference. Hope is looking to be the #1 team in the nation, right? From everything that we've seen here, they've got to be just... You can't be satisfied at all with 18th, knowing the talent you have.
Yeah, they're just trying to make a statement, simply put.
Fielded by Hannafin on a couple of bounces. Hannafin to take it outside, just inside the 20. And that will be minus from the touchback spot by a little bit.
It's a great play by the gunner right there. That's Maddox Greenfield, I believe that was. And he made a heck of a play there. He missed the tackle, original tackle, fell to the turf, got up, and got Hannafin on the cut. Hope just is controlling the special teams as well. I mean, every single aspect. Hope just looks flat out like they know they're better.
Return only going to net 13 yards. Hornets officially start at their 29. First down, 10. Little bit of movement early again. Run Riley, left side. Not a whole lot there. A.J. Martell on the stop for the Dutch.
Yeah, I mean, they were bringing pressure. You saw the jump, 2 linebackers jump forward, and you elect to go to a short little counter. And, I mean, the edge has just been controlled, so you try to get your running back to bounce it out outside the tackles, and it just doesn't go well when Hope is doing whatever they want on the edge.
Nichols will roll out, design roll out here for Spates. And that's something that's free most of the time when Kalamazoo wants to take it. Jonah Spates on routes just kind of sitting out there.
Yeah, and right there is exactly what I kind of just said, how Hope is controlling the edge. Liam Danitz had a free shot. He just kind of walked, and if Nichols holds on to that ball for a tenth of a second longer, he's in the turf, and the ball's probably loose without coming forward. Got to do a better job protecting your quarterback.
Good news is 3rd and short. And they'll go RPO to pick it up. Hannafin, first down. Took a little pop at the end, don't get me wrong.
You're not going to get those home run plays. You're not going to have the time for those routes to develop. That's how you have to think if you're Kalamazoo. So you have to go short. You have to just be content with these 5-6 yard plays on the RPOs. That's how you're going to put together success. If you're looking for the home run balls we've seen the last 2 drives, it's not going to happen.
Lorenzo Vitti is in press over there on Spates. Nichols looks the other way, complete. Tyler Houle. Everything that's positive so far in the Kalamazoo offense, pretty much on first down, right?
First downs and going short, not going far. That ball's 5 yards in the air, 2 yards after the catch, and now it's 2nd and short. That's what we talked about on the first drive of the game before the 3 and out. Get yourself in manageable situations on offense.
They're in the bunch. Sheldon Riley to run power behind Andrew Munger, and I love the way these runs are being finished.
I mean, that's perfect. That's literally perfect. It set it up with all the RPOs. I mean, they're finally getting that offense in that we expected early on, that we said you have to get going. Just a short, quick, easy.
They're pitching out to the right for Riley. He's going to bounce off a couple, made something out of nothing.
Yeah, it was going to be a loss of 1 if getting to the line at best. Got it 3 yards, and it's 2nd down and 7, but once again, that RPO action on the first set of downs is opening up the running game a little bit. You're content with 3 to 4 yards a carry. You're not going to complain.
They flip the bunch, put it to the field. Early movement again. Now, you're going to see how they rule this. They've got a few ways they could go, because I think you had the guard Munger trying to point and say that Ackerman 83 inside had come across. So they're going to go false start on Munger. You got to watch it a little bit pre-game. We were having the interview with Coach Zorbo running, but Andrew Munger's sister, who they don't get to see very often, showed up in the full fatigues, home from military service right now, and a really special moment for him, the long embrace. They got the little photo op. Now, what can he do up front? He's got the unenviable tasks. Snap came out late.
It's movement on the near side of the offensive line. Not sure who they're going to gun on it, but it was over on the left side.
You got two options over there. Cody Wrigley at left tackle, essentially a 4-year starter. CJ Aldred been in and out of the lineup a little bit at left guard with some injuries, but as solid as anybody and has a lot of experience when he's in there. Carter Main at center. Munger, as we mentioned, at right guard, a senior, and the right tackle, Travis Shemwell. That's your 5 up front for the Hornets offensive line. Second and a bunch. They fake that toss this time. Now Nichols wanted to take the shot, bluffs a couple times, and dumped. Had some room to run, but that's a great ankle pick tackle.
You just got to get something. He realized the shot's not going to happen, simply put, especially when you're on the run. He hasn't looked very accurate so far today, and it's not a recipe for success. It's a smart little 1-yard gain, and it's still 3rd and long, but it's better, and it's better for the mind than taking a sack or taking an incomplete shot.
Better for the rushing yards as well by a little bit. Not something maybe people want to start thinking about quite yet. But, whoa, that was a first quarter, was it not?
Yeah, Hope came in here and just absolutely gut punched Kalamazoo, and now it's going to be how do you answer, because at this point you're not really on upset or on the upset watch. You're thinking to yourself, how do we keep this game respectable? How do we keep ourselves in a high place mentally, because that bad loss last time out, that bye week to settle you down and to mull over it, and then you come out and you don't want to say lay an egg, but in a sense lay an egg the first quarter. You really just got to get something going mentally before it starts to drain you for the rest of your season. Because this game, you didn't look at your calendar and mark this down as a win. You marked it down as a hopeful battle, but you got to feel good about it mentally after this one. It doesn't matter the score of it. You have to feel good going in the rest of your schedule.
You're hearing on the PA right now a couple of the announcements from all of the athletic Hall of Fame teams and individuals who were just inducted last night in that ceremony here in Kalamazoo. Lots to celebrate here for homecoming. And they were hoping to get some of that on the field. Haven't quite seen it yet. Ball's just to the left of middle of the field. Bunch is to the right with 3 receivers. Zola receivers, Hool to the left. Nichols, complete. Clark got a little ways to go. He spun out of a tackle, just short. All the Dutch are trying to say that ball came out at the end, but we've already seen one of these ruled down by contact.
I believe they're going to say he was down by contact. You go for this, obviously. It's a beautiful play, though. You see the linebacker through the middle, bite forward. They bring the blitz through the B gap on the left side, and it opens up the middle of the field. There was nobody even near the receiver through the middle, and that's when you just find the soft spot.
Looks like the offense is staying out here on the 4th down. Timeout first. Why not? Add to the moment. First of the half, first anybody's called so far, and it's maybe a long 2 yards to go.
Yeah, you're going to need something here. I don't think Kalamazoo comes out of this timeout and runs, but Hope's playing mind games right now. I think this timeout is more of a, I want you to think about this play. I want you guys to start getting in your own head about this 4th down and 2. Because in essence, we talked about it when it was 13-0. It was a hope drive for the Kalamazoo defense being borderline the game. Well, it seems like every single drive now is you touchdown or bust. You have to find the end zone, and you have to try to claw back any way you can.
It likely starts here, but it doesn't end here at all. This is a 4th down and 2, and we come out of the timeout. You are in Hope territory. That matters a little bit where the drives start and field position. Probably no chance that the punt team would ever come out in this situation. And Kalamazoo's kind of made that their mantra. I mean, a team that enjoys going for it on 4th down. Enjoys isn't the right word. They're always on edge about it, but sometimes they got to do what they got to do.
And it's something you got to do right here. It's going to depend on the look Hope gives you out of the offense. I'd have to imagine Hope brings some pressure on the outside. Looks like it's what they're going to do. I think they're pulling a couple DBs down. I'm expecting a heavy blitz here. You got to get rid of the ball.
Hannafin in the slot left. On the 4th down. Nets are going to go for it. They're running Sheldon Riley. He launches that ball out. And first down.
The gutsy play call right there. You saw pressure. You knew he was going to bring pressure. It's gutsy to run right up in between the tackles. That's a really gutsy call. That's called trusting your guys, because you're seeing Hope rush more personnel than you got.
They want to stick with the run on first down. That's not going anyplace.
Yeah, that's Lemon Cussa, who just said, I'm going to shed the tackle, do whatever I want.
Jack Lemoncusa has been a real standout as a freshman off of that edge. 5.5 tackles for loss in just first 5 games. Kalamazoo's in split backs. No gain officially. Nichols will roll. They have Clark to protect. A screen the other way. Got some room to run. Sheldon Riley. He dives forward. You got a flag out at the end. And let's sort this out.
I think this one might come back. I'm seeing Kalamazoo walk back. They agree. Holding on the outside. I had a feeling, was hoping not, but you saw at the end when broke to the edge, you saw some sort of contact in the shoulder pad.
Maybe it's about the timing as well. Those linemen, it's really tough to determine how far you can get downfield. You got to consider the illegal man downfield. You don't know when the ball is really coming out because you've already released from the line of scrimmage. And speaking of coming out, Sheldon Riley's coming out right now. Grasping the outer leg. He's going to see the trainer. And Connor Bell's in at halfback. They'll set 3 receivers to the field. Nate Clark, again, the tight end, is the inside guy. Nichols ducks and covers. Sacked.
Yeah, they brought pressure and did whatever they want. Nichols had 1 second after he pulled back in the play action, and Hope is just so good in the trenches. They collapse that pocket, and they're really going to make you beat them with improvisation, quick plays. You're not going to get anything to develop downfield, which makes these third down and country miles borderline impossible.
That's 3.5 sacks on the year for Liam Danitz. Had 8 in 8 games last year, too. Got a couple of backers walked up here. Nichols will roll again. Nothing new. He's going to tuck it one more time, and they got him. Looks like probably going to split the sack. Parlberg and Danitz, rather. Yeah,
I mean, you saw the linebackers back off, and Nichols started to roll. The offensive line didn't, and the DNs just said, all right, I'm going to go get them, and really there's nothing you can do. I mean, they're just controlling the trenches.
Dutch continue to put 10 men on the line with just the 1 deep returner. Still the 2 punter system. Jack Duggins has gotten off some good ones. Again, this isn't going to be returned. Oh, it's loose. The Hornets have it. Fumble.
You're looking for momentum. There it is. That's massive. Anything to go your way. Your special teams comes up with it. Here you go. Here's an opportunity. Get yourself back in the football game.
I love a punter celebration, too. Jack Duggins hit a mean one after that. It's got to be difficult, right? This is a left-footed punter who can roll out to his left, and you could still snap it to the other guy, the right-footed punter, and kick it the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to plan for. It's definitely an interesting look Kalamazoo brings, but you have a little momentum now. You just can't let Hope squander it. But if you're the defense, you're thinking to yourselves, we've had our way all day. All we need is 1 sack.
The first turnover. Nichols to get it out for Durbin, a little high, dangerous. Raridan could have been headed back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, that ball's just thrown behind the out, and right now if you're Kalamazoo, you're thinking to yourself, points, 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 get the 0 off the board. So just make sure if you're Nichols that you don't take a sack. The line did a pretty good job protecting and giving them a pocket.
Ronnie Spencer, the one credited with the recovery right now. On the muffed punt. Nichols going to go middle screen. Connor Bell got a little bit of room. It's a great track down, a little bit downfield from Lumen.
It's all you can do, and simply put, what's going on right there is they're playing man. They're manning up, and they're taking everything away. The out route that he wanted on the near side was jumped. I believe they wanted Hannafin going towards the near side hashes, the near side numbers, excuse me. It got blown up, and it was a choice route out of the backfield, and it works your way. If they're going to play man, you're going to have to trust your guys. It's going to be tough to do against a Hope defense that's this intimidating, but you got to do it.
Looks like they're heading back in split backs. Durbin and Connor Bell on the right and left. 3rd and short for the Nets. And they're going to try and throw out of it. Nichols pressured, sacked. One more time, Jack Lemoncusa.
Yeah, Lemoncusa's fast. He has that first step, and almost looks like this entire Hope defensive line is a half step in front of the Kalamazoo trenches. They're just getting that quick first step, and Kalamazoo's not able to react quick enough, and it's just seemingly his pocket's collapsing, and seemingly a second and a half maybe, and Nichols is having not a fun time back there.
They're actually going to credit Otis Ackerman, the senior up front, 83 off the edge with the sack. Could have split it evenly, I wouldn't have argued. Nets offense going for this on the 4th and 10. Nichols going to have to hurry again. He's got Hannafin. Did he get enough? It's close. I think so. First down, Nets.
Just got it by about 2 yards. You saw Hannafin. I think he caught it at the line to gain and just made a good move right before going out of bounds. That's beautiful, beautiful body discipline going towards the sideline. Your momentum's carrying you one way, and you're able to stop on a dime, cut up for 2. He knew where he was. He knew what he needed.
Kind of hit the moonwalk. And a little shovel pass underneath for Durbin. Gains a little bit. Not a whole lot.
You're thinking end zone here. You need 7. If you can turn that muff punt into 7, you're going to need a lot to come back in this ball game on a Hope team that is just dominating. But you can't just start it from nothing. It has to give you something momentum, and that muff punt might have been what you needed. You wish it came at a point where this game was more within an arm's reach, not 28 points, but it's at least something to get going.
Second down, goal to go. Wants to launch for Hool, little bit high. Not a bad spot, though.
Yeah, Hool cut a little bit horizontally, and not quite sure what the call was there with Nichols. He went to the corner. I think Hool was going to go to the corner and saw to himself that he had no opportunity to get back there and said, I just got to find open space. And he found open space, but unfortunately not on the right page right there.
You've still got a long ways to go. There's 9 yards, 8.5 or so to go. Nichols pumped, now through, incomplete. Got hit one more time. What else is new?
Yeah, he is getting hit every single time he drops back, and as a quarterback, that is so unfortunate, especially when it's coming on your blind side. You just can't trust anything. You don't trust that you have time. Even when he does, he has to get rid of the ball quickly because if it's coming from the blind side, you don't know. And as a quarterback, that intuition's tough to build when seemingly every time you touch the ball, there's 3 Flying Dutchmen right in front of you.
We wondered if maybe it was all 4-down territory. Here they're bringing out Emory Roberts with the field goal unit, the lefty and the senior. Ball's held at the 20. Roberts up and good.
It's points. It's something to feel good about. You need not only to feel good on that sideline, you need this crowd to wake up, and it's tough, down 28-0 after a quarter when you've just been gut punched, but you get a little bit of a stopper there. You show a little bit of resistance, but here's going to be the big test. Can the defense go out there and get a stop? Because it hasn't happened a lot. It hasn't happened at all.
So you've had a couple of things positive happen now on special teams and offense. I fully agree. The missing component here is the defense.
I mean, they're averaging 32.2 yards in the air, 10 on the ground, 11 first downs. It's a Hope offense that's done whatever they wanted, to say the absolute least. Kalamazoo's defense needs to draw something up. It looks like they might be outmatched, at least in the physical side, but you're going to have to play some scheme and just do anything you can to at least make Hope move the ball slowly, because that has not been in their vocabulary today. Excuse me.
It's all right. We are no strangers to long nights in this business, huh?
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Roberts will kick it back off. Going to kick from just to the left of the right hash, coming in a moment. It's really refreshing to see some positive things happen on special teams. Roberts has had a field goal plus a couple of PATs blocked. Special teams has been a big problem for a couple of weeks now. And to now make some very big plays in the game off of it, shot in the arm.
And it sucks not getting a touchdown there because you thought to yourself, first and goal, we can do this after our big time 4th and 10, but you got points. You got to feel good about something at least.
Roberts kick in the direction of Amos. He's going to have to pick it up. Got a chance to pin him, and that's a great special teams tackle. Jacquez James, I think, got him.
Yeah, he smoked him. He stood him up, and that's big time because there was an opportunity right there for Amos. It was going to be close towards that corner, but If you can just get them outside or inside the 20 at this point, which they do, but inside the 30 even, because the starting field position for Hope, outside of that 91-yard touchdown drive from the first punt of the game all the way to the 9, they've been starting near midfield. The special teams, they've been controlling, and now you finally, after the turnover on special teams, you get a big tackle and a big pin. This is where you have to step up on defense. Your special team has done their job. The offense did a job and got points. But now it's time for the third level to take away.
The Dutch offense back out. One tight end. They want to run Amos. He picks his way through beautifully. Amos down the sideline. Flag looks like it's going to take this back, but there is absolutely nobody home. Raymond Cargill from the linebacker spot, the only guy with a chance. In all likelihood, this is completely erased. That's a shame because you got to take a look at the track speed.
Yeah, the Hope offensive line is just standing there. They know this is coming back, and it's a tough one. But, yeah, the speed is unreal. Absolutely unreal. Once he broke free and cut to the outside about 3 yards past the original line, there was absolutely no chance you were catching him. Amos is very, very fast. That is the only word for it. And you're lucky right now if you're Kalamazoo this is coming back. Because it wasn't necessarily a blatant hold. There was a hold nonetheless, but it wasn't necessarily one of the ones you look at and you go, that could never have not been called. That's one that is going your way, luckily.
A similar result here. It's called block in the back, Dylan Clem. Really, though, the bookends here, Luke Marsh and Dylan Clem. Unbelievable experience, talent. They're mean, they're physical. Usually the technique is great. It's going to happen every once in a while, especially, in the trenches. Rivalry game. Wipe out that huge run, though.
I'm taking a shot.
You might have wanted it. Strickland will run on the first down. He won't get back to the original line of scrimmage. This is not a bad stop, and they're still a little backed up.
Can't say I wanted them to take a shot, but I saw kind of a heavy look inside. I saw Kalamazoo trying to guess the run, playing one-on-one on the outside, not necessarily pressed, but not necessarily soft, and said, you know what, if you're going to take a deep shot, they're not expecting it here. You might as well trust your receivers. And once again, they're doing the same thing. It's not press, but about 5 yards, no safety help on the far side of the ex-receiver.
Dutch have got to change that quarterback. Notable. Trainer in. He's going to point upfield. Now take off. And out of bounds, but he gains some yardage back. Should be manageable third down.
I'm assuming it just means it's going to be the end of the night for Wellman. 5:07 for a $161, a touchdown, and completed 71% of those passes. I mean, that is a heck of a first quarter, basically, because I think he played one drive here in the second.
We'll keep an eye on it, but yes, that's certainly possible. Strickland, the night will not be over anytime soon, by the way. They're going to put 3 receivers now in a bunch of their own. You got Adam Stapleton, the outside linebacker, to press the point man. They're looking to the right. Strickland's wide open out of the backfield, and he ended with a truck. First down.
Those are gut punch. You get him to throw maybe a yard past the line, and you were so worried about that little bunch on the near side that it just completely left the X factor of the offense. And it's difficult to say from a defensive standpoint that you forget Chance Strickland exists, but coming out of the backfield, the bunch on the far side, and you think to yourself, okay, he doesn't exist. And while he's wide open, trucks forward, that was a big-time opportunity to get a big-time stop for your first of the game.
It's partly that he is just not really the receiving back. He's got 5 catches on the year getting in. That's just the 6th one. They'll run Tyler Amos to pick his way through. Tackled for a loss. Got popped. Ben Maurice should bring him down for a short loss.
It's going to be tough to react to after that 3rd down and 10 pickup, but you just got to have a short-term memory. You still have them in their own side of the field, and it's still great opportunity to get a stop. You're trusting your guys, too.
Amos, unsurprisingly, right side again, nothing there.
Kalamazoo is very content with trusting their personnel right now. They're playing an interesting set defensively. They're running a lot of man looks, but on that Chance Strickland pickup, on that one especially too, it was a zone look, and I don't think Zach Trainer's comfortable to air this one out.
That is notable. When it was Wellman, the very first drive, of course, they hit the 65-yard touchdown pass. You haven't seen him be able to take any of these shots yet.
Oh, watch the far side numbers.
They do have a solo receiver out there. Something to think about. They're looking that way the whole way. And I think the flag's out.
Hit him before the ball was there. It was a hitch route. He hit him before the ball was there. It was still traveling, not even halfway there, and just delivered enough contact. Yeah, it's going to get called, unfortunately. It's one that could go uncalled, but it's probably not going to. It's a tough one. But as we said, far side one-on-one, they knew what they had.
Yeah, that's all about that pre-snap read. It's called on Gabe Myers, senior out of Martin High School. Still waiting on the chains to move for a minute. Here we go. Likely just heard it, moves the ball up to the 37. We got 5 minutes and change still left in the first half. Dutch offense looking to take advantage after the first down by penalty. They'll run Amos. Speaking of taking an advantage, it matters that tackle was made, by the way, by Pepin. But that could have been out the gate again.
Yeah, that was a home run call for Amos. That guy is fast. There's literally only one word to describe it. It's Tom Brady describing Lamar Jackson. Fast. Because he was gone. Beautiful tackle. Just got a piece enough to wrap him up and tackle him forward. But because that was another home run call from Amos on this one, and that one wasn't coming back.
Amos on the season had come in with 9.9 yards a carry. That is laughable. One of the most efficient guys in the entire nation. Trainer, the second string QB, been doing a good job running the offense so far. He'll throw a bubble, and Stapleton hog-tied him.
That is beautiful. You have to make the open field tackles, and it's something that they haven't been able to do as we've seen the home run balls from Strickland and Amos. It's beautiful right there. Put yourself in manageable situations defensively too. Make Hope air the ball out. Trainer doesn't want to throw the football. They don't want him to throw. He's only thrown one pass past the line of scrimmage, and it was called pass interference incomplete. And it was pretty decent coverage.
They're backed up after the loss of 2. A tackle for loss from Adam Stapleton from that outside linebacker spot. They'll motion the outside receiver in an orbit motion and run inside. The falling forward, that's some of the hidden yardage I mentioned early in the game.
Yeah, there's been a lot so far for Hope. There's been a lot on this drive too. I was watching pregame, and I was seeing Caden Balkin hitting field goals from about the 30-yard line. This would be a long one at that, but I wouldn't be shocked if they sent him out there. I mean, you're up 28-3. Why not try to let him hit 50?
We'll find out if we get to decision time. Third down, they'll run Strickland outside. He still manages to get something out of that when he's met by 3, 4, 5 nets, but fourth down.
It's going to be an interesting decision. I mean, do you trust your kicker? I don't think they do. Balkin was hitting from this distance, though, pregame.
Maybe you trust your defense. Fourth down, they're already on the ball. Give for Strickland, and he's got enough.
Then again, when you have Chance Strickland, you don't need to kick 45-yard field goals.
It's not a complicated system for the Dutch because it doesn't have to be.
It's a great way to put it. And Strickland goes to the sideline here. Now it goes to Amos. So you go from the power back who just got that big fourth down, and now the home run speed. Both of his big runs in this drive, the one called back and the one that was nearly another house call, have been on first down. You got to think this is going to him. I'd have to imagine they run a counter.
They do show a receiver blitz or a receiver motion. Tons of time to throw, and he shook loose. That's Holzer, touchdown again.
He just found the soft spot in the zone. There was nobody there, and you saw a trainer kind of point forward and say, hey, go to the corner, cut up field, because the receiver started cutting horizontally towards the sideline, and then trainer had to kind of remotely tell him, hey, there is nobody in the low corner of the end zone. You're wide open. Get the stats in the stat sheet. And once again, just playing with their food right now.
Grant Holzer now 4 touchdowns on the year, 2 on the day. Been around a long time. The 5th year from Okemos. Caden Balkin to tack it on. And this thing over that second fence. Somebody's got to go grab that.
35-3, and just when you thought a little momentum, 3rd down and 10 after getting a turnover on special teams, a big special teams play, a field goal for your first points of the game, and all of a sudden, that big 3rd and 10 flat route to Strickland just seems like it's taken any momentum Kalamazoo was building and just kind of thrown it out the window.
You've got 2 minutes, 11 seconds. A score here helps, certainly. It all starts with the return as well. You've seen some good returns beyond the 30 with Hannafin. You also see Jonah Spates back there right now with Houle in place of Hannafin.
You also get the ball at halftime. So if you can get in the end zone here, 35-10 isn't necessarily pretty, but it isn't the end of the world. You get the ball at halftime. You have a chance to maybe make it 35-17 if you can go back-to-back touchdown drives. Granted, haven't got anything close except for the first and goal that was shut away, but nonetheless, anything, if you can get it to go, this could be a game. You have 2 drives back-to-back seemingly if you can get this one to go the length of the half.
It's going to be Spates to field this first one. Houle, the off returner, to throw a block. Spates breaks down. Couple of spin moves. Spates is going to bounce out of there. That's fun. And a little bit beyond the 25. That is very late to continue the tackle in the paint. You saw what I saw?
I did see what you saw right there. It just looked like they were maybe tied up because on the return team was simply put tied up and on the ground almost. But that's a good return, solid return, and you need those solid returns. And it might not have been a lot after the spin out, but the spin out was, as you said, that's pretty cool. And that's how it needs to radiate on that sideline. You have to just kind of build off that and say, hey, we can make these plays. We can make these cool plays, get those hidden yards, and get a good drive to go. You have time.
Speaking of time, 2 minutes, 1 second. They're going to motion Clark in and have him protect. Nichols had to get rid of it and a little bit short. Getting hit.
And moving across your body like that, moving to your left, throwing to the right, and I mean, it's not an easy one, but they're lucky they motioned the receiver in to protect because they didn't. Nichols is going to get sent all the way back to the end zone.
You also got a timeout called here. That play only took 4 seconds. There's still some time to march this down the field. Kalamazoo with the full complement of timeouts. But timeout right here. Taken at minute 57. The numbers for Josh Nichols right now, 11 of 19. That's 58%, right around his season number. Only 72 yards. Has definitely had to get it out of the hand quick. Well, you wonder why? Sacked 4 times and hit a whole bunch more.
Yeah, I mean, along a 15, if you remember that play, it wasn't 15 yards. A lot of run after catch on the quick little screen in the middle to the running back. And those are the plays you have to make. And I think Hope is kind of gravitating towards tight zone coverage now. They're watching it, and they know that Kalamazoo's got one plan. Get the ball out quick, and Hope has kind of just taken advantage of that and made adjustments and done exactly what you expect the number 18 team in the country to do defensively.
Nets are out in gun doubles. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first. Nichols will complete for Spates on the right side. And good gain again. He's close. Spates, a little extracurriculars, I think, with Lamb and Kuza over there.
Yeah, it was Lamb and Kuza out in the play, but that just kind of shows you one thing. Lamb and Kuza made the tackle on the outside receiver. That is a sentence of all time for a defensive end like Lamb and Kuza, 6'2", 250, and he's shown that he's also got a decent amount of speed to him. It might not be lightning, but it's decently fast.
Just the 3 down front. Hornets going to motion Hannafin. Got about 3 yards to go. Nichols pumps twice, 3 times. Wants to roll. Long way to go, but should have the room for it. First down, and the flag's coming out. Think that's an easy one. 4, 5, 6 flags, all the flags?
He has got smoked in one of the trainers late, but that doesn't happen. That play doesn't happen, not the hit. The play, the scramble to the left doesn't happen if Kalamazoo doesn't just triple team Jack Lamb and Kuza. They not only put 2, but then they had the running back step up and just act as a second layer. If somehow this 6'2 freshman gets by our guard and our tackle, he also is going to get touched by the running back. We're not going to let him get to our quarterback. They trusted everyone else one-on-one, and the rest of the line held up phenomenally on the 3-man rush. But when Hope only rushes 3, you have the ability to kind of triple team Lamakuza, which is why that play happened, for lack of better words, because if they don't, Lamakuza's probably getting the nickels and probably tracking him down in pursuit on the left side.
So things this will do. In all likelihood, this is a personal foul for a late hit out of bounds. The rush yardage was probably already going to be enough. Big chunk, 19 yards, something in that neighborhood.
It should get you towards midfield, and it gets you to stop thinking about field goals and gets you to think about touchdown.
Whoa.
That's, you said chunk, about 19. Well, double it.
Yeah.
Throw it on block and double it, because now you're nearing the red zone just like that from a QB scramble for 3 yards.
2 late hits. 1 late hit out of bounds, then sort of an unsportsmanlike probably for the scrap on the sideline after.
That's what that conversation was holding. Was kind of looking at it going, what are they talking about for 30, 40 seconds? So it was an easy late hit. Are they trying to discuss the number? But wow.
Coach Sturzma has to be mauling over that, livid. Nichols wants to look long over the middle, incomplete. And a little bit of a late hit back in the pocket as well on Danitz gave it to him.
Yeah, that ball kind of just can't fire between 3 Hope defenders, and I believe the intended target was Hannafin, but if anything, the defenders were closer to the ball than Hannafin was. I'm not quite sure where that was going. It might have been a heads-up play from Nichols, as Hannafin up the seam was completely well covered, double covered at that, so it might have just been, I'll throw it near him, but spike it.
Clark, the tight end, on the line of scrimmage, running a route here. Nichols wants to go to Hannafin! How does he do this? Every single week, making a catch I can't describe.
It's phenomenal. It's a double effort catch, too. Second effort. And for Nichols to stand in that pocket, you're watching Nichols drop back, and you're watching the far side edge collapse. He held on to that ball for 0.01 seconds, and he is just getting decked. I mean, I'm looking back at it, and right as he gets rid of that ball, he's hit.
Bunch to the left. Ton of room there. Braden Lavis slipped a tackle. Lavis has a first down. Nets back on the ball. They got time.
I like staying in bounds there because you got a minute left. You do not want to give Hope a minute, because they've proven they don't need a minute. They need 10 seconds to score. You don't want to give them the ball back. You kind of want to score with as little time possible here. Obviously, you won't complain a touchdown to touchdown, but nonetheless.
Yeah, you think back to the very first play from scrimmage. Wellman with the 65-yard touchdown pass. Nets have goal to go. Nichols tipped. Whoa, breathe a sigh of relief. Live to fight another down.
Yeah, it was Cole Lumen on the play. The linebacker just kind of sat there, and I'm not sure he read the route because he wasn't really in pursuit. He was just kind of sitting there. I believe he was watching the back, see if they tried to leak out anybody from the backfield to get a quick little completion. And he ended up being in the right place, right time, got his hands up, but that was dangerous. That could have very well been a pick. He's lucky that was a linebacker and not a DB at all. He's very lucky.
You know, sometimes they say that's why those guys play defense when it comes to the hands. Hornets' big shift. We see a lot of this. All for the mind games, make you think about it. Motion Hannafin. He becomes a number 2. Nichols pumps high for Spates. Got hit.
He knew he had nothing. The motion showed zone, and then he wanted quickly over the mill a quick little choice route to find the soft spot, and simply put, did not find the soft spot. There was 3 fighting Dutch right where he wanted to go with the ball, and he realized that's got to put this thing out the back of the end zone. He wanted Nate Clark soft over the middle, and it's not a bad option right there, but it didn't work.
69 Tate Bezo on the pressure. Hey, have we seen pressure before? Does protecting your quarterback and hitting the other quarterback matter a lot? And is this Dutch team really good at it?
Yeah, I mean, Tanner, I'm going to show you something at halftime that I'm noticing a lot. There's one play that exemplifies it perfectly, and it was that big-time completion where Hannafin made the great grab. I mean, Nichols to finally be able to stand in that pocket despite the pressure off the blind side. It takes a lot from a quarterback to trust the offensive line, especially when, as we said, it's not holding up. It's not doing its job. It's not necessarily to go to Kalamazoo's offensive line and say, what are you doing? It's more to say that Hope is just absolutely pushing them back into nickels and making it just even less time than you would expect.
You have Emery Roberts out there. I don't think we're talking field goals most likely. You also had Eddie Langton, the sort of de facto number 2 kicker who's warming up into the net now. I would be very surprised to see a field goal attempt even at the end of this drive. You still got 41 seconds, so you can complete this in bounds. You could run the ball if you feel like it. A lot of options.
Don't run this ball. 4 men in front with a linebacker in the box.
Nichols pirouettes. Now throws off of the hands. That's the 4-seam fastball for Hannafin, but good coverage.
4-seam fastball to number 4, and Hannafin just didn't have his hands up. That's a touchdown all day. The ball was perfect. It would have lodged in his face mask if he didn't put his hands up. That's how good that ball was placed from Nichols. And on the run, moving to the left as a right-handed quarterback, that's an impressive placement on that ball. That's just tough. I don't think Hannafin was ready. I think Hannafin thought that Nichols was going to try to go to the pylon, which he might have had space to get down to the 1 or 2, and that would have made this 4th down very interesting. But he tried to just do it on that play. And, I mean, Nichols has had a tough first half after that interception, too, early on. But he's really starting to get there, starting to get more comfortable in this drive especially. The last 2 drives, he's looked a lot better. It's almost like we're watching 2 different quarterbacks. It might be too little too late, but at least you're finally starting to see him look comfortable instead of just completely looking like he doesn't belong on the field with the way the Hope defense is giving him looks.
Hannafin been the number 1 target so far. He's got 4 catches, 47 yards. Nobody else with more than 2. Jonas Spates, think back to the 3 touchdowns in the Calvin game. Spates has been an animal in the red zone for a long time. Again, you've got options, but they're going for this on the 4th down. That much we know.
Hope is shadowing Spates, but I'd watch him right here towards the pylon.
The 4th and goal. Josh Nichols, he's going to flush. Holding it, Nichols, flag down, then incomplete.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get in the end zone. You're hoping right here that's going to give you a new set. I'm not quite sure, honestly. I think it's going to be on the offensive line, be a turnover on downs, but I don't think Hope agrees. Their defense gravitating back towards the middle of the field, like they're going to set up for 1st and goal, which would be massive if you're Kalamazoo.
That would open the playbook up dramatically. With 28 seconds, you can run literally anything you want. And defensive holding with automatic 1st down. Good call.
That's big time. I think I'm going to give Nichols the benefit of the doubt and say he knew that, and that's why he went for the end zone.
Sure.
He was going to be short nonetheless on 4th down, so he probably goes for the end zone either way, but made a very late decision to try to get that in the hands of Levis. But now you have an opportunity. 28 seconds. We say you don't want to score with a lot of time. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect if you're Kalamazoo. You need to punch it in, make it 35-10, and hopefully go into the locker room with that and the ball in your hands.
Would you run the ball on 1st down with Sheldon Riley?
With the look they're giving me, no. 4 down front with pressure off the edge on the far end.
They will drop back and chuck this thing. Nichols got him wide open. Who else would it be? Lucas Hannafin touchdown.
That's Lucas Hannafin all day. Nichols made a great look and just looked up into the end zone, saw the open space, but that's all Lucas Hannafin finding the soft spot. It was a zone. We saw the pressure off the edge, back off and go to the pylon on the far side. Hannafin saw that, got the leverage, cut inside, and just saw the middle of the field was wide open. There was nobody there. The linebacker came down, and it's not necessarily a look I love Hope giving them on the goal line. You don't want to give the middle of the field. Yes, you're expecting Kalamazoo to kind of run just a quick flat and try to get the ball in space, but I'm not sure about that look right there from Hope defensively, but it worked out for the Hornets.
The patience of the quarterback there, I can't say enough about it. Never once panicked.
He never once even looked like he was going to run it either, which is quite interesting.
They're going to motion to empty with Riley. Nichols to loft back to the middle, the toe drag. That's nasty.
I think Nichols is realizing he has nothing in terms of running the ball. He is not going to be able to run because they're not necessarily sending a spy, but in this zone, they kind of are in an essence. And Nichols knows that. He found the soft spot again. That's a perfectly placed ball. And there you go. You're in business now. 22 seconds left. You just have to avoid disaster in a way. Kicking it out of bounds, letting up a big play, etc. If you can go into the break, 35-11, get the ball back after that big-time drive, you're not necessarily feeling like you're in the position to win, but you're feeling like you're in the position to at least make it interesting. Put hope backs against the wall.
Kalamazoo passing at a 2-to-1 ratio to rushing right now. Unsurprising, but you've kind of got to do that most of the rest of the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the game script goes that way with the score currently, but you knew that coming in for a Hope defense that doesn't even allow nearing half a century of yards per game on the ground. You knew you weren't going to get anything. And when you look at it, if you take away sacks, it's one thing, but if you include sacks, it's negative 1.2 yards per rush right now for Kalamazoo. The running game, non-existent isn't a word. It's detrimental to the offense right now at this point. Even the two running backs with Riley and the one carry from Bell, 1.5 a carry from Riley, 11 yards on 6 carries, and 1 carry for 4 yards for Bell.
Emery Roberts kicks off. Fielded by Cal Motter. Motter could make a big one out of this. He bounced off a bunch of tackles. Motter, you've got flags everywhere. Amarion Hall gonna run this down. Oh, let me catch my breath a moment. 9 seconds left in the half. It's almost always in this situation the return comes back, but there are flags everywhere. The 26, 31, 41 yard line, you name it. I lied. One of the flags at the 36. Sue me.
That's insane. That return is crazy. Just what you said can't happen. Luckily, a lot of laundry. Believe this one's going back. I think Hope knows it.
So they wiped out an 85-yard touchdown run from Amos, another really long run from Amos. This insane kick return from Cal Motter.
Well, that would explain the big run. It's not every day those happen. That would explain it. 2 holdings, and then not quite. They didn't say what the third flag was, but 2 holdings is called.
You presume one more, right, for good measure?
Presume. But, yeah, you're talking 2 to 3 holdings by the receiving team. Now with less than 10 seconds, I'm assuming at the knee. Maybe you hand it to Strickland or Amos and see if they can break one. Not a bad idea if you're Hope, but I'm assuming you're just content with this score and you're content with 35-11 at half.
A tight huddle, plus the receivers didn't even come into it. And now it looks like they're going to put, well, they're motioning Holzer as the solo receiver. Maybe. We'll find out. They will chuck this thing, and they go back to Wellman. Wellman has Holzer. Hall's going to get on the horse. What's the time on the clock? Oh, it's a buzzer beater. Jaws are dropping.
Oh, boy. There's no words for what just happened. They gave them one-on-one looks. They were scared of the run, and wow. That's the only word I can think of. It might be the only word in my vocabulary right now, and that's wow.
The first play and the last play from scrimmage in the half. Never seen that, ever. Balkan to add 1 more extra points.
It got blocked, but fluttered over still. It almost got a piece. Well, there was a piece gotten. They almost got a full piece, but that just sucked the wind out of you. And, wow, we're going to halftime on that note. Just when adrenaline was at an all-time high, adrenaline and energy's at an all-time low. And you can see Kalamazoo trying to get back to the young DB. They're actually helping him off. He might be limping on the right leg, but, that's not fun.
Ben Wellman strikes for the 80-yard touchdown. That's the longest play for the Dutch this entire year, at least through the air. You also had 1 80-yard run from Wellman, but absolutely wow is the word. He came in with 3 passing touchdowns on the year. He's already got 2, both really long ones. And again, they are the first and the last plays from scrimmage of the entire half.
And that's how we're going to go out of this note. If you're Kalamazoo, I'm not sure how this locker room talk goes, but it was one way. It completely changed. They say you change your talk and start preparing your talk as a coach. About 5 minutes left in the half. Well, probably changed it about 9 times in the last 30 seconds.
42-11 is going to be the Dutch lead in the first half. The stats will tell the story. We'll get back to them when we come back here for the second half. Tanner White and Sean Massa here in Kalamazoo. The Hornets will trail 42-11 heading into the half with the Hope Flying Dutch here for homecoming.
Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics. Thank you for listening to the internet broadcast of Kalamazoo College Athletics. Today's game is starting in just a few minutes, and pregame coverage will start in just a moment. Thank you for listening to Kalamazoo College Athletics.
And we are just about to come out of the half. It's Tanner White and Sean Massa here from Angel Field, where we saw a number of stunning things. I think two big ones to point out. The first play touchdowns on the first and last drives of the half. One play touchdowns, both from Ben Wellman. And wow, the place, well, you could hear a pin drop in here.
Yeah, I mean, first play, 65 yards to the house, just on a simple post route across the field, about 25 yards in the air, goes 65 to the end zone on the right side of your screen. Then at the end, to the left side of your screen, they do it again on just a simple go route, perfectly placed ball from Wellman. And luckily for Kalamazoo, Hope doesn't get the ball first. So you can eliminate first play of the half, a touchdown against.
Yeah, but you got to start scoring on your own really quick, and you're going to need a lot more than 11 points. That's what Kalamazoo managed in the first half. Caden Balkin to kick this off and get it going. You have Hannafin back there to return this time. Took out the first couple, and speaking of taking outs, Hannafin's walloped.
Yeah, Hannafin just ran into a sea of white and orange. That's simply put what happened there. But you saw Nichols in that first half start to settle in and start feeling more comfortable. See if he can put together a couple nice drives for the offense, who looked actually decent at the end of that second quarter especially.
Kalamazoo did manage that touchdown drive. They got the 2-point conversion to Jonas Spates. The toe drag swag, by the way. Didn't get to even talk enough about that because you still had to kick it off and you knew, uh-oh, this offense for Hope is dangerous. Kalamazoo going to start in the split backs here for their first snap from scrimmage in the second half. Nichols, as he has so often, he's got to pump before he first gets this thing out. Bell makes the catch and swarmed, and he'll lose yardage.
Yeah, you gotta figure out something here. Anything to the running backs hasn't really gone the way they want. It's really been Lucas Hannafin, and that's about it. Everyone else really has nothing. Hannafin has nearly half the receiving yards, 49 of the 111.
And he had been the leading receiver coming in terms of the yards, the touchdowns, the receptions, everything. They'll motion to him, fake a jet. Nichols wants to just get this thing away. The only question becomes, well, was Hannafin in the area? They're going to say yes.
And Nichols was smoked at the end of that one, too, and he's really getting hit hard in this ball game. You got to wonder how much more can Kalamazoo take watching their starting quarterback just get hit every time he touches it.
Still at about 57% completions. He's now 16 of 29. They'll put 3 receivers into the boundary. Hool, the solo receiver, to the left. You had the movement again. This should be 5. It looks like it's going to be against the nose. Caleb Parlberg.
Well, I mean, we talked about the flags in the first half. There wasn't really a lot of them looking back at it, except for outside of that one that moved the ball 35 total yards for Kalamazoo on the touchdown drive. But if you're going to get anything going, this is definitely going to help you. Makes it third and at least not 12. It's 3rd and 7, so it's a little more manageable for a team that doesn't move the ball with efficiency today. I mean, you're not getting a lot of big chunk plays against this Hope defense.
Kalamazoo also made one small change up front. You see now 55 Andrew Munger at center, and Carter Main just moved to right guard. They flopped those two. It matters a little bit, and it's probably because of that Hope front and how quickly they can penetrate, especially in the interior. 5 wide, empty it out, here for the 3rd down. Josh Nichols will get it out and whacked one more time. The pressure from Lumen, timed up perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he could do was a simple 3-yard out that he ended up sailing, but he didn't even have time to let the out develop. He delivered that ball before the cut was even made because he simply put had to. I mean, talk about that change from center and right guard, flip-flopping them. The pressure's been coming off the edge, which is the toughest part, but even through the middle on the first 2 drives of the first half, it was just the middle of the offensive line was just being seemingly picked at will, and now it's just like the entire thing is just Hope's controlling it.
Trevor Hansen, the 5th year back deep. The 2-punter system still in effect. Jack Duggins has snapped off some beautiful ones. This, not bad, keeps getting the roll. And 46-yard line, that's where the drive will start for the Dutch.
Yeah, the officials were letting a little wrestling go on in the middle of the field right there. There was a Hornet and a Flying Dutch, not necessarily exchanging friendly words, it seemed, but thought we might see a flag either way, as there was not a punch thrown, but there was a few hands to the face mask and helmet of each other, but we saw nothing. So You're seeing those tensions fly, though, and it's hard when it's a 42-11 game not to have those tensions, but it's also a rivalry game, so very interested to see how this second half unfolds in that terminology.
I think that we knew there was going to be animosity. And the first drive for the Dutch in the second half, they'll start back in their spread look. 3 wide, 1 tight end, 1 halfback. They want to play fake. Wellman wants to chuck another. Jackson Mitchell, he dropped it.
He read it perfectly. He jumped the route. That was a house call all the way, and he jumped it perfectly. That is, we said it in the first half. That's why they play defense. That might be why he plays defense, because he just took Blanton's route and said, I know where this is going. It was a little bit thrown to the backside, and it almost worked perfect.
Looking for that deep over route. Incomplete. The PBU for Jackson Mitchell, but wanted more. Dutch now on the second down. They can still run whenever they want. Yeah, you might have known that was going to happen. That is good for a first down and more.
Yeah, Modder's now into the game with the success Strickland and Amos had. A combined $128, I believe, if my math serves me right, with 3 TDs on just 15 carries. I mean, it might be the offensive line just pushing forward because Modder had no one in his way right there. He wasn't touched until he was 5 yards across the line.
Remember that really, really long kick return? That was also Cale Modder. That got wiped out on the block in the back. Motion a receiver, run the other way. Good pump fake from Wellman to sell it. Nets defense will hold this to a short gain on the first down.
Still almost 180 yards in the ground already this ball game. Averaging nearly 9 a carry is ridiculous. And, of course, that's heavily outweighed by the longs of 40 and 30 from Amos and Strickland, who don't appear to be in line to get touches here. So if you're Kalamazoo, this is your chance to actually stop the run.
Yeah, and start working your way back. It's a long road back. Wellman, good pull on an option. He'll push the pile himself. He's even finished some runs nicely.
Yeah, Wellman's got nearing 30 on the day on the ground, but we talked about Wellman with 241 and 2 TDs in that first half. He only completed 6 passes.
Yeah.
To only 4 different receivers.
Yeah, is 40-plus yards per completion a big number?
It might be. It really might be. I mean, as a team, they're averaging 29.8.
Yep. Easy to circle those numbers and say, you can't do this. Out in the pistol right now. They want to run on the 3rd and short. They got it, plus more.
Yeah, I mean, this offensive line is just pushing so far forward. It's honestly magnificent to watch the dominance that Hope has in the trenches. No matter what back you put behind the quarterback, they're not getting touched for 3 to 4 yards seemingly every time they touch it. I mean, if they do, it's only a 2-yard gain. But if the offensive line is doing what they're doing all day, 4 yards before the back with the ball even has to worry about a defender.
A.J. Martell just carried for the first time. He's a freshman out of Mason. Goes 5'8", 186. Going to go with a little bit of a dirty bunch from tight splits to the left side. Wellman runs it the other way. Bounced off of one. That was Kamani Jones. And gained maybe 3 to 4 yards.
Yeah, and that's now going to give Wellman 30 or 31, depending on if it's 3 or 4. I believe just 30 yards in the ground, but he's only carried it 4 times, so he's even having success in the running game. And a lot of it's been designed, but we've seen both of his runs this drive already have been optioned and keepers. So see if they just find something, because he's completely getting the edge of the bite and getting that outside. It's just beautiful tackles left and right that are stopping it from being another home run call.
Second down, about 7. Wellman, RPO, bobbled and incomplete. That's one you're going to want to have back for Rowan Blanton.
Yeah, just straight up dropped in. I mean, I guess it can happen when you're Hope and you're kind of when you're up 42-11 as a receiver, you're kind of thinking, I want to make the next home run play when you've had nearing not even a handful. He can't even count on one hand the amount of 50-yard plus gaining plays Hope has. So as a receiver, you start thinking to yourself, I can do that. I can do it. And he had space in the bubble, but picked the head up before the ball was in the hands and just goes off the chest.
Make it a 3rd and 7. Going to continue to motion tight ends pre-snap. Wellman out to Mattel. Got a lot of room. And that's a first down and more. You've talked about the 3rd downs, and they're efficient on them.
Yeah, and what a block in space. I mean, just absolutely sent him back. That was Adam Cassell. That's beautiful.
Take a moment, swap out some personnel. Lots of heavy bodies. Probably you're going to be seeing almost all heavy bodies as they get even more run heavy likely in this second half. Jack Goldie is the tight end now, 87 on the left side of the screen. On the line of scrimmage. Wellman does go play action, though. He wants to throw. Comeback, complete, slip tackle, touchdown, Dutch.
DeHorn just with absolutely magnificent knowing where he is, able to stay in bounds there, and just shedding the tackle is just a missed tackle on the outside because it probably should be first and goal from the 3, which might inevitably result in a touchdown probably for Martell or Mater, whichever one you put in there, but just like that, I mean, this Hope offense just does whatever they want in every single aspect. That's 3 TDs now for Wellman. Matches what he had in the season.
Yeah, that is a standout stat to me. They're letting Wellman chuck this thing, even as they're running the ball well. Balkan, extra points. Good. So it's a bunch to not a lot.
That is a way to put it. And, I mean, it's already, you're doing the math, and you're looking at nearing 500 yards of total offense so far for Hope. And on the side of Kalamazoo, by a net gain of rushing and passing, they're not even over 100. It's simply been Hope going nonstop, pedal to the metal, and really just shushing this crowd right before they needed it. I mean, this crowd started to get a little bit of life after the touchdown at the end of last half that made it 35-11. And then that one play touchdown right on the backside shut that down. And yeah, you said it best though after that first half. You could hear a pin drop here right now at Angel Field.
They continue to switch up the returners. They go back to Spates. Hannafin had the last one. Hool is still the returner set off to the left. A big return could spark you a little bit. You've seen the special teams fumble that Kalamazoo recovered. There are things you can do to stay in this, but you've got to do them right now.
Yeah, as we said, you're kind of looking at this game one simple way if you're Kalamazoo. You're not necessarily looking at it as a game that would probably be likely to come back and win. You're looking for something to feel good going into future games.
Spates is going to field this one drifting into the end zone. Going to make his job difficult. And did you say a sea of white and orange last time?
Yeah, a sea of white and orange, and that was an ocean of white and orange. Try to go any bigger than sea, maybe ocean, I guess you can say, because there was about 7 different return specialists right there that just took them down. I mean, it was already difficult backpedaling in your own end zone to take it out. A little shocked by the decision, but wow.
I'll pick out a number in on the tackle, 17, Luke Stewart. I mean, you could have chosen many of them, but Stewart among the Dutch in there. Offense, back out. Josh Nichols, trips. Nichols wants to get it out quick. That's been the formula. Complete for Hannafin.
That's all you need is little 5-yard completions. I mean, Hope is giving them to you at least early on in drives. Once you start getting towards midfield, they start tightening up, and then you have to start kind of cooking up something offensively with route combinations. But early on, when you're on your own side, Hope is perfectly fine with giving you quick little completions and letting you try to do stuff after the run, after the catch.
They're going to run Sheldon Riley, and he's going to have to scrap and claw every time he fights up there for yardage. A flag comes out.
Yeah, I mean, Riley had 6 carries in that first half, and he had a net gain of 9. It was tough, and that can be taken away by the long of 4, so really 5 with a net gain of 4.
And you saw Riley come out towards the end of the half. You're going to see him tapped out again. Gave it a go, but you wonder now if they're going to sit him the rest of the way.
I mean, Bell's the only other back to carry, and he has 1 touch for 4 yards on the ground. Other than that, the only rushers have been Nichols. It's a big penalty, though. We're starting to get towards midfield, which is where Hope is going to start taking away the shallow stuff. So you really got to have that in the back of your mind if you're Kalamazoo. I like this little bunch on the near side because they're still giving you the shallow stuff.
Nichols will look the other way to the solo receiver on the double move. High. The same page? Probably not.
Yeah, one was on page 4, one was on page 9. I mean, I don't think that I don't think that Spates thought that it was going to be a stop-and-go route, and that's obviously exactly what Nichols wanted.
Got to just get it out of mind. Clark on a couple of bobbles. Smacked, but hauls it in.
Able to hold on to it. He got smoked. He got absolutely drilled, and I think Kalamazoo was kind of hoping that the middle of the field was going to open up there, and that hope was going to try to gravitate to the sidelines. That's where the big plays have come. That's the only way they've been able to get big chunk plays. Those longs of 20 and 10 and 11 on the passing side of things have been when the middle of the field's open, when the linebackers kind of leave it.
Nets are back on the ball. You got a 3rd down and 6 to go. Nichols lofts, Spates the adjustment, incomplete, flag down.
Yeah, they're going to get him right there. As Spates was kind of looking up for the ball, the DB in the play never looked up. He completely just kept his face towards Spates and made a little bit too much contact. You got to turn your head right there.
I still believe that Coach Sturzma on that opposing sideline is fuming with the giving up the free stuff. A lot of penalties by 1st down. That really matters a lot when you go sort of to the MIAA championship. You know, you have the games at the very end of the year you need to win, and presumably this team ending up in the postseason would really have to. That's when those plays come back and absolutely haunt you.
Yeah, Hope is looking at today as a bit of a tune-up. They're looking at the rest of the schedule as, we can do this. We can really make a run. We've dominated so far. I mean, you can go back to their top 25 matchup against Alma and how much they dominated that game.
Little bit of movement, no flag there. Out of the bunch, Nichols, little high, and incomplete. Spates kind of been the focus here now since the start of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't target him a lot in the first. It was really, simply put, not his half, at least on the receiving end. Kalamazoo was giving him some looks, but now they're kind of putting him on an island. As I say that, they gravitate a safety over.
13, Austin Harvey, the corner to his way. They fake a screen one way, go with a screen to the halfback, and sniffed. Luke Palmer to track it down.
Yeah, and I mean, this Hope defense just smells out everything you do. Kalamazoo's been trying to give them misdirection fakes and going to the other side, try to get everyone on one end, go to the other, and Hope is just there every single time. Their personnel just matches up phenomenally.
Hornets have 3 wide, plus the tight end Clark. They want to swing it. Bell got a long ways to go. He slipped a number of tackles, but you're still going to be left with 4th and long. What do you do on maybe the 46-yard line-ish?
Probably just send out the punt team at this point, try to pin them deep, and now Hope's saying they have the football. It's a 4th down, but a lot of bodies at the bottom of that pile. Hope was trying to make a case that ball came loose, and yeah, I think they're just going to try to pin them deep and make Hope work for it, I guess. You don't want to give them the starting field position of nearing the 40-yard line or nearing the 50-yard line if you can't get this 4th and long. If it was 4th and 4, 4th and 5, they probably go for it.
It looks like for the first time we're just going to have one punter. I thought 2 was a lot of fun, but back to their traditional back wall look with the 3 backs. Moat to get it off. See where the bounce goes. These are positives on special teams almost all the time. This Dutch offense now has to start at the 10-yard line.
Last time they started inside their own 10, though, was a 91-yard touchdown drive. So,
of course,
if you're Kalamazoo here, you just have to tighten up. They're starting deep in their own territory. That is not fun for an offense. You're deep. You got to bring pressure right away. But at the same time, if I'm Hope, I'm expecting pressure, and I'm kind of putting my running back in pass pro, maybe adding a tight end on the wing, and then trying to air it out. Catch them off guard. If they're going to send the house, they're going to trust athletically one-on-one. We could see a big deep ball here from the backup quarterback, Trainer, back in.
Yep, they just made the move. Good call. Zach Trainer to lead the offense out now. Unsurprisingly, going to start with his own running on 1st down. The first broken tackle was Garrison, and that doesn't happen often. But finishing the run at the end should be a pretty good gain on the first.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely lowered the shoulder, and I mean, these Hope running backs not only have the explosive speed, every single one of them that we've seen today is just not afraid to put the shoulder down and absorb contact.
Hornets 3-down lineman right now. Jaden Johnson at the left end spot. Nolan Janiga back at the nose. Broken hand, he's playing in there, clubbed up. And Bryce Ballabuck at the right end spot. Trainer rolls. Johnson maybe got to try to draw a hold along there, throwing up the arms to try and show it. No luck. That's complete. That's a first down for Motter out of the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, the Hope running backs are just getting everything they want to. And credit to this offensive line.
They're making a bunch of changes, sending in tons of different personnel all the time. Imagine those personnel cards, if you've seen guys holding them up sort of on the defensive side, showing their the safeties and the linebacker and all, hey, this is what the offense is coming out in. That guy would be getting a workout today.
Yeah, I mean, the defense has spent a lot of the time on that field.
Motter wants to run way outside and strung out. Stapleton should have him for a loss.
Just got to get the ball back. If you can just put up stops, I mean, obviously one more and it's a 50 bomb. You got a lot of ball to play, so you're probably expecting Hope to get that mark. But at this point, you're just making it for scoreboard watchers around the MIAA, around Division III. Not to think that Hope walked in here and just do whatever they want, even though they kind of have. Kalamazoo's shown more fight, I think, than the scoreboard has shown, at least at times. It's just been those big explosive plays that have shot them in the foot.
They do have a long way to go right here. 14 yards to go. Motion the tight end, keep him in to block. They're going to boot Trainer. Trainer to take a shot. Oh, did he fit that in there? No, it's ripped out. Oh, I think it's Jay Swain, Jalen Bowles Swain, to punch it out.
Yeah, what a play. What a ball, honestly. Perfect window, just an even better play defensively to break that up. And we haven't seen Trainer take a shot like that as long as completion up to this point. Even though he's only thrown 5 or 6 passes now, was 21 yards, but it's a good improvisation play from your sophomore backup quarterback. It's something to kind of look at for next season or for after the Ben Wellman era, especially also with 2 senior running backs.
Yeah, going to be a different looking Dutch team next year. I fully agree. Third down, extra long, make it 14. Wellman got a lot of time. Finally pressured now. Leonard Humphreys missed the first time. Janinga to wrap him up, and that should be a sack.
Here's a big-time punt. I mean, Kalamazoo's going to get the ball, and this is a chance. I mean, depending on where this punt goes, I would probably field it almost no matter what, because regarding anything, you could probably get this near the 50 and have a shortened field. And the offense has really struggled when they've been backed up and they've had to go 70, 80 yards. If you can give them only 40, only 50 yards to get into the red zone at least, it's a good spot.
Peter Costa has not had to do much punting by any means. That's also for the entire year, but of course for this game. 8 punts on the year. 38 average, very respectable. Only 1 fair caught, 4 downed inside the 20. He has been quite good. He gets this one off. It's low. Kicked really hard, though. Spates should have room to go to work. Spates near midfield. Got a little bit caught up right about on the wing of the Hornet, but good starting field position.
Yeah, I mean, the shortened field is big time. Only need to go 50 yards, 30 yards to get into the red zone. And I mean, we talked about it. It was a low-line drive. The bounce might have gone pretty well and got near inside the 25 to the 20, but heads-up play from Spates to return it knowing that, because this shortened field is big for an offense that at times has really, really struggled when they have to go, as we said, 70, 80 yards.
Sack officially credited to Corey Garrison right now on that last third down. I thought, looked like from the defensive line, but of course I'm a defensive line guy, of course, guilty. Nichols, first down, will throw. Always works on the first downs, really, in this game to get it out quick.
I'm not sure if that ball got deflected at the line by a hand of the defensive line or something, but it kind of fluttered over to Hannafin. But good adjustment by Lucas Hannafin, who really impresses every time you watch him. I mean, he's got 7 catches now on the day. He leads either one of these teams. Obviously, when Hope's only completed 12 passes, that's most likely going to be the case, but
also top 25 in the nation in touchdowns is Hannafin. This is a little low. It's caught by Devin Yankee. He won't gain much.
Yeah, but it's his little short stuff. Now you're in 3rd down and 4, 3rd down and manageable at least, and I'd have to imagine this is 4-down territory almost the rest of the game for Kalamazoo.
The freshman halfback in right now, Thomas Shemwell. Also the tight end off to the right, Jaquez James. That's where they're going to run it. Shemwell, short of the marker. Everybody flying in on the Dutch side. They're going to hold up on the third down, but fourth and short. Tate Bezo, he's the one that had the helmet pop off, and he'll come off for at least a play here. Carter Strong will be the one to replace him on the left edge.
A little shocked with the run right there, but that kind of goes back to it. They were going for it on fourth down no matter what.
Oh, yeah, that decision was made a long time ago. And they'll run Shemwell again. He slipped his way through there. Love the pad level.
It was probably a decision that was made in the locker room of, guys, we wanted a chance of coming back and making the score at least respectable on the box score. We got to go for it. We got to put together these long drives. Not just long drives offensively in terms of yardage and time, but the time is really an emphasis.
Yeah, you can't get anything too methodical. You're going to have to take shots. This could be one. Nichols will step up first and slide down as they mark it again at the moment that the quarterback begins the slide. This looks like it might be a rush for -1. Better than taking a sack.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to get yardage, positive at best. The middle of the field's going to be taken up here. I'm not quite sure what I'd run if I was Kalamazoo with the look I'm getting defensively.
You're going to have Shemwell, the running back, shift right to left again. And finally, Nichols will drop back. He'll sling it for the out. Incomplete. Aaron Zeckman. Tight window along that sideline. Long look, speaking of that sideline, back at it. It's one of those, you have 3rd and 11 plays, but that's a kind of shorter area of the playbook than, say, a 3rd and 3, right?
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what they bring out here. Once again, I have to imagine you throw the ball 6 yards in the air, but it's going to be tough with the pressure. Yep.
Yeah, you called it. Nichols is going to have to rush. The stiff arm, you've seen one of those turn into a penalty, but it's a better job that time pulling up. He's chased out by Micah Bush.
Yeah, Micah McCurry just absolutely said, I'm gonna get the Nichols. I'm not gonna be touched by this offensive line. Just shoved his way through. Second string defensive lineman. I mean, 6'4", 253, and he got off that line quick. He got out of that stance into the quarterback within 2 seconds. Maybe. I should honestly put on a stopwatch and start timing it to make sure, because I'm saying these numbers just out of left field.
And the average time to pass is always something that the NFL likes to focus on. Oh, this guy's getting it out in 2.5 seconds. That means he's doing a good job. 4th down. Speaking of getting it out, he pumps. He's not going to do it, but you got a flag downfield. Let's check this as well.
I think it's going to be holding in the secondary. I think that's why he pumped. He realized his receiver was being held, and that's one thing Nichols does a really good job at quarterback is the anticipation part. The part about routes may not be developed yet, but you got to trust your receiver to make the cut. You got to know where he's going to end up on the cut. And I think that's what he tried to do, and then realized he was being held before he could make the cut, had to try to tuck it, and was taken down.
Dutch sideline exploded because they assumed it would be probably an offensive penalty. No such luck. It is a defensive hold. Again, that carries the automatic first down. And again, Coach Sturzma is not having it. He's still talking from his spot. If you can see him about the 33-yard line right now with the referee. He's still heading out there. Oh, I thought he had called a timeout before the end of the quarter. I thought that would have been madness, lunacy.
Well, he's not very happy about this, but it's going to be fourth quarter action. And Hope has just done exactly what they did in the first. A little bit less offensively, but defensively they have shut them down. But you're going to get a good chance here off the flag when you're coming into the fourth quarter. It's big time. If you're Kalamazoo, like I said, you're looking for stuff to feel good about your rest of your schedule. This game is probably already chalked down, at least in the decision column, but not in the how you feel mentally column.
Agreed. Indeed, it was not a hold as we get the penalty yardage marked off. Pass interference. Wasn't able to hear that one, but they're marking it off 15, so Kalamazoo's actually at the 21-yard line.
That'll work. I mean, you're on the doorstep of the red zone, so you got to put something together, and this is where they've struggled, however, is to finish off drives. They've had a total of 3 drives get in the red zone, and they've gotten 11 points out of it, which isn't bad, but it's not necessarily great in a game where the other offense has 49 points.
On the first down and 10, they're heading out. Jaquez James still in there at tight end. The senior, he's the third or fourth guy Kalamazoo rotates through at tight ends. They got a lot of capable guys who can do some things between pass protection, blocking, occasionally carry the ball. You saw that against Calvin. James as well as Nate Clark had carries in that game. Connor Bell now back in the backfield. Yankee, Hannafin, Aaron Zeckman, your three receivers. They'll run Bell. Bell with the lunge forward, but that maybe gains just 2. Here comes Spates.
The running game is just something that, I mean, I don't think you can look at it as too much. I know Kalamazoo's running game not necessarily very potent nonetheless on any average day, but I don't think it's something you can look at today and think it got worse. I think it's just being outnumbered and outmanned in the trenches. We said that's how Hope wins, and, well, it might be a way that they're winning today.
Nichols gonna still have chances to launch. Complete. Jaquez James in stride. Touchdown, Kalamazoo.
Perfect ball, perfect route, found the soft spot cutting inside, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Was a little shocked they didn't put the back end pass pro and leaked them out on the left side. It gravitated the linebacker down in a perfect window, and that's a beautiful ball from Josh Nichols. And like I said, he's looked really, really good after those first 3 drives. And go, okay, whoa.
They came out in the swinging gate. That could have been fun. Now I think they're just going to motion all the way in, run a normal extra point.
Well, yeah.
I wanted to see the fun stuff.
Yeah, we all want to see the fun stuff, but at this point, you're just looking for points any way you can.
Yeah, it's true. It's probably the right decision. Arvin Krishnan will hold for Kalamazoo, a reserve QB / wide receiver / tight end, a utility. Roberts kick, little line drive. He got it.
You're not necessarily in this game to the point where you're thinking you can win with 14 minutes left, down 30, but at the same time, that feels good to get some points on the board. It's a Hope defense that's only led up 6.4 points per game, and you have 18 and counting.
Yeah, that's so easy to forget. This is almost 3 times what they have averaged. Offensively, there are things to take from this game, especially considering all of the circumstances of one of the most fantastic defensive teams in the nation. There are tons of things to take and say, we can win other games with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's how can we go about the rest of our schedule? If I'm Kalamazoo, I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, and I'm thinking we can have a pretty decent finish to our season. I mean, 1-1 in the conference before this, but after this, Albion, Adrian, Alma, Trine, you can win a good chunk of those games. I think it's a part of the schedule you look at and you say, hey, 3-1 in that last 4 isn't out of the question, especially with the way they've played today. After that hot start, they kind of settled down. I think the emotions were a little bit high, and I think Kalamazoo just kind of psyched themselves out of the situation, and Hope took advantage of that and made this thing out of reach before it seemingly even started. Remember, it was 21-0 less than 10 minutes in.
Yeah, another thing easy to forget about. Feels like a long way away. Mater let this one drive over his head, and a touchback from Emery Roberts. Now, they're making a switch. The offense going to come back out. Hey, let's make a little switch up here, Sean. You handle a little bit of a play-by-play for me on this Dutch drive.
All right, I can do that for you.
I know you can.
Well, I can try at least, but, I mean, we're looking at this Hope drive, and what are we thinking they're going to do? I mean, we every time we think, oh, they're just going to run, they're just going to ground and pound through the middle, get this clock milked, they air it out. So
we've been wrong so far almost every time, right?
I can't be really shocked that I'm wrong at least. But it is Zach Trainer, and we've seen him be the quarterback that elects to run the ball. Trainer's 4 for 5 for 38 yards and a touchdown. He comes out with a 3-receiver set. Lone back on the left side hip. They'll turn and give to the lone back through the left side. Cutting, fighting. Got about 3 yards after contact and fighting through. That was Martell again.
I like Jaden Johnson, the way that he aggressively bends and chases. You hear that all the time. That's kind of, I'll step into the defensive line film room, of course, being the defensive lineman myself. But he bends and chases that down the line, and for a defensive lineman from the other side of the field to come and chase that down, even if it does go for a good gain, the hustle from him is exemplary.
Lone receiver on the left side. No safety help if they elect to go. They motion a man over on the left side. They'll hand again to Martell, and Martell does what he does best. Charges forward, lunges after the contact for more hidden yards. Give him about 5, maybe 6. I think we're going to see them just milk the clock and run the ball.
Seems like that's the right decision. Up by a whole bunch, of course, you have unbelievable bookend tackles Alden Smith actually now in at right tackle. You've got a largely second-team unit. Ethan Kirkland as well in at right guard. See if we can sort out the rest of them. Timothy Clay, the starting center, is still in there. And I believe Luke Marsh is the fifth-year tackle as well. But they're still going to try and lean on people. That was never a secret.
They run out of the pistol man in motion now to the left side of the line. The same thing they did last time. The same thing they did last time again. This time to a different back for about 6 yards. That was Motter. So Motter and Martell taking the buck of the load from Strickland and Amos, who had themselves a first half to remember.
Yeah, I think those guys have earned sort of the rest of the day off. That's kind of what it looks like here. Kamani Jones just kind of caught the ball carrier that way, by the way, not necessarily running his feet through contact. Maybe part of the reason why Kalamazoo just subbed him off at safety, and they're going with Maurice up there.
Very soft coverage from Kalamazoo. Once again, it's going to be a hand to Motter, this time through the middle, and he's going to be met at the line. He fought forward for maybe a yard. They'll give him 2. Maybe a friendly spot, but a big third down.
Yeah, Bryce Ballabuck. He's been wanting me to say this one, but he really wants to shout out his grandma. So, Grandma, I hope you absolutely loved that one. And, hey, thanks for tuning in. Of course, we assume that you are. Bryce Ballabuck. Likely TFL, but going to be close.
I think they gave him a yard. The official ruling has not technically been made yet on the stat sheet, but I believe a yard was the call. It's third down, and we'll call it 2. 3rd and 2 with a heavy set. They motion again. Every time they've done it to run up the middle, they'll turn and give again. This one's going to be bounced back in through the B at the left side of the tackle and fought forward for a gain of 4. First down for Martell.
You're seeing a little bit of gap schemes on the ground. It had been largely a zone running game. Again, they don't have to do much of anything complicated with the outstanding nature of their offensive line with that much experience up front. But a little bit of gap schemes is something you show on film and something that, well, the entire rest of the MIAA has to be aware of going forward the rest of this season.
Seen 5 straight runs all out of this set with the motion. Let's see if they motion again over on the left side of the line. They do not out of the pistol. It's going to be a read option, and he's going to take it away. Trainer at the 40, smoked. Open field tackle, and that was dangerous because Trainer had a lot of room on the sideline.
Yeah, you just saw kind of the antithesis of the example that I pointed out from Jaden Johnson earlier in the drive. Jack Duggins was the edge player that way. He's that ex-linebacker, and he's really looking aggressively inside to chase the dive when the quarterback pulls it. You've got to have your outside arm free. You got to do what's called feathering it as well. You break down. You don't rush too far upfield and open up that seam for the QB to pull it.
Trainer once again, they motion again. The same play they've ran, this time's play action. Trainer's looking deep. He wants a shot. It's broken down. He'll take it himself through the middle. He has blockers, cuts back to the left, takes a hit on them immediately. Ball is loose. Pile. Kalamazoo signaling, but I believe Hope's going to take it away. Trainer trying to get fancy, and Hope's going to retain the football.
Now, did he recover his own football, or maybe you had the right guard Kirkland down there? I don't think we're going to know.
I don't think we'll ever know who actually got that football at the bottom of the pile, but nonetheless, it was the white and orange they retain. They wanted to let Trainer take a shot, but it was taken away downfield by the second level of the Kalamazoo defense.
I also want to talk about the patience of the run. Many quarterbacks don't have that, but he was able to really let the block set up downfield after the scramble attempt.
2 receivers on the near side of the field. It's the long side. Trainer turns, and he'll just give easily for Martell. And Martell, once again, not even hit before he got 3, and he stopped right there. So after contact, he got nothing.
Yeah, yards after contact, that's been one of the things that the Dutch have really separated themselves from, well, almost any other team in the nation in. When you go back and watch this game, you'll see lots of other examples where, of course, they had busted some really long runs after the contact. But here in the fourth quarter, defense kind of feels, hey, we need to get this off of the field for some respect, for some pride, and now they're limiting those yards after contact.
Hope has done nothing but run the ball. Even the design pass was pulled down by Trainer. He'll get this snap handoff once again for the 9th of the drive, fighting through Martell, nearing the line to gain. He'll be 1 short. It'll be 3rd down and 1, knocking on the door of the red zone.
Do you wonder why coming in they had so many different guys carry the football? Because every single guy runs hard, and you don't really miss a beat when any single one of those backs comes in. Even your quarterbacks, you might see another quarterback at some point. After Trainer here, you rotate halfbacks through, fire sale offensive personnel changes almost every snap.
Trainer once again with a back on the left side hip. It's a give, and it's a first down easily. Putting the shoulder down and getting a little bit more is Motter. He's taken down after a modest gain, and to say a modest gain at that, but for a team that averages 7.5 is technically modest.
Yeah, the mathematics of it will tell you. That's not something that Kalamazoo wants to hear about. You're not going to want to look back at the stats from this game. That's something that I actually kind of dread every game, post-game, is heading down there with the stat sheet. No matter what it says, coaches just don't really want to hear it right after a game. But it's, one of the post-game responsibilities.
Learning to deal with it. Motter once again, this time goes left. It's another zone run blown up off the edge. That'll work out for the Kalamazoo defense, trying to put a stand and maybe force the first field goal of the game.
Yeah, believe it or not, Dutch have not been forced to kick, and they've got a pretty good one in Vulcan. Adam Stapleton racking up tackles. He's the Hornet leader now with 7 of them, plus a couple of TFLs.
They average 352.2 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, mic drop. That's all you need to say.
247 today, so to say it's been a below-average rushing game feels weird, but it technically has.
Yeah, believe it or not, Ripley's.
6.5 per carry. They come out on the pistol again. They motion over to the left side of the line. It's going to be a simple handoff down the middle. Good gain after about 4 yards of being untouched. And Martell's going to get a good chunk on second down.
Kemper Mills is another backup guard in there. 6'1", goes 318, and he finished a block in a wicked way. To find an entire second, even third unit offensive line that's still out here in the fourth quarter when it's easy to kind of take plays off and to say, oh, the run's not going my way, I don't have to do much. But guys that are still willing to throw pancakes like that, rare. It's kind of the makeup of championship teams.
Trainer on third down, and it looks like 2 will blow that dead as a timeout is called. Hope's going to call time before third down and 2, and still a chess match for the Flying Dutch.
Yeah. Can you feel the animosity? You think Hope is going to take a shot to the end zone here?
Yeah, 100%, and was looking on that play, and they kind of had a look to the corner. I'm shocked to see the timeout, but I think they saw the look they're getting defensively. They think they might get the same one out of the break, and they kind of want to change their route combinations. But, yeah, I think we're on the same page here. This is going to be end zone, or they're going for it on 4th and 2.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. And they might even have that right now, sort of calling the 2 plays on the sideline, say, hey, if we don't get the first down on the first one, this is what we're running on the 4th down pretty much regardless. It's just simply about the rivalry, about the animosity right now. Kalamazoo, of course, got to keep their heads, but Hope is trying to drive, well, more, larger, and many more nails in the coffin probably before this one's done.
Out of the timeout, Trainer with Martell in the backfield. The lone back sits on the right side hip. It's a 3-receiver set. Looks like a zone off the bat from the Kalamazoo defense. Heavy offensive line at the turn and a give to Martell. He'll bounce to the outside. He'll get the first inside the 5 of the 10, fighting through at about the 3, maybe the 2. But at the first down and goal for Hope.
I've mentioned a lot DB's tackling. I love all of the effort from Maurice to shoot that lane, saw it open up, shot the guns, didn't make the tackle in the backfield, was a little bit dejected, but absolutely laid out and given 110.
252 on the ground. Martell's trying to become the 3rd different running back to find the end zone. He's going to be stuffed short. I believe he gets maybe a half yard on 1st and goal.
Still got 6 minutes to play. I believe the Dutch have smelt the blood in water for a while. I almost wonder, would they go back to Strickland? They haven't done it yet. He is the guy that they want to feed. They want him to lead the nation in rushing touchdowns, and he's going to have a really good chance to do it. Don't see him out there right now, but it's something you would almost think about on 3rd down, especially if it's close, maybe a yard or 2 to go still from kind of where they are right now.
They take our Martell, put in Motter. Same pistol, look at the motion again. It's just going to be a run up the middle, you'd have to assume. Turn and give the Motter, bounces out left. He's taken down behind the line, but a flag thrown by one of the back line judges. So I'd have to imagine on the offensive line.
Likely, yeah. Brennan Panucci, I think, drew that. You still have a member of the offensive line down. I believe it's the reserve right tackle right now. I assume it's still Alden Smith. It is 65. And Panucci kind of doubled over. He's got his hands on his knees as well for the defensive line spot. Chop block. They're going to say the old high-low.
Heard that and kind of took a second to process in the brain a little bit. Not what I was expecting at all.
And you don't hear it so often anymore.
No, especially with how quickly that flag was thrown. I was completely assuming that it was just a simple hold on the line. But nonetheless, this is going to be third down and goal, or second and goal, excuse me, but from the 17-yard line now.
Yeah. Long one. I still expect them to throw a pass to the end zone on this possession. Would be very surprised if it doesn't happen. I don't know that it's going to happen on the second down, but they want to score again. They want to thoroughly end this.
Tanner White's calling a shot to the end zone. It's going to be a play-action pass, roll out near side. A lot of room for Trainer if he wants to run. He's going to the end zone for it all. Jump ball past the backside of the end zone. Receiver was just forced out of bounds. Well, there's your shot that you called.
I see it. Sometimes you see things. And not a badly thrown football, but I love the trail technique from the DB. High points it, able to just go between the hands, knock it out. I don't want to call it again and say, oh, they're definitely going back. They're going to roll out and take another shot to the end zone. Because, of course, that's not what I want to see. I want the score to stay right where it is and then Kalamazoo to start mounting something. But given this Dutch offense, everything we know about them, I expect they'll consider it.
Third down and goal from the 17. Not often you hear that. Man in motion from the left on the right. It's play action pass on the fake jet. Rolling out is going to be Trainer after the pocket collapses. Looking to the corner. Toe tap. Was he in? Yes, it's a catch on the near side. Oh, my goodness. He got that. Tyler Stazowski. Oh.
There is the tiniest glass shoebox to throw that ball in, maybe on the sideline. Now, is this... Oh, have they finally ruled incomplete?
Wow, it's a late incomplete call, but it was almost perfect.
Yeah, the field judge, I think, who was closest to that near pylon, I think was the one that finally waved it off. Well, interesting. Now they're bringing out Balkan.
Thought for sure that was going to be one of the prettier catches we've seen today, and we've seen a few on both sides, too, with Lucas Hannafin making a pretty pass on the seam. He caught that right around where this field goal is going to be kicked from about the 26-yard line. It's up. And no good. It missed left. So Hope has to wait on their 50-burger.
Yeah, maybe at least a little bit longer. 4 minutes, 27 seconds left. I expect Josh Nichols to come back out. There he is. He's still got that all-time passing record to think about, but I believe it's likely out of reach now. Let me check on the yardage. Nichols at 143 through the air, came in needing 313. Yes, in all likelihood now out of reach. But for next week, that's very much in play at Albion.
Next week at Albion, and unfortunately for you, Tanner, the next two games are on the road, so
yeah, shame.
The record will most likely not come here at Angel Field.
Yeah, we should be so lucky. Oh, well.
But one more drive potentially with under 4.5 minutes to play. Nichols with a 3-set at the top. It's just a simple handoff on the near side, cutting back in, met about 3 yards away, trying to fight for anything he can, but taken down. It's a tough run.
Yeah, they're sticking with the freshman Shemwell, and just like most of the other running backs, hasn't gotten much before contact, but really running hard, finishing every run, and picked up some crucial third downs.
Two receivers to the far side of the field. That's the wide side. They motion Hannafin back out to the near side numbers. He was looking that way, but now Nichols goes the other way on the flat out of the backfield. A little bit of space to the 30. Put the shoulder down. And I believe got the first down. We'll see where the spot is if he stepped out of bounds. It's close. And they're going to give it to him to the chains move.
The wicked little hezzy. You see that from Shemwell? Man, that's fun after the catch. Connor Bell is kind of known as the most elusive guy there. Sheldon Riley, guy that runs with a lot of power. But good pick up there from Shemwell.
Same personnel in the game. This one's going to be a quick handoff, bouncing outside because the middle collapsed, but taken down by the DB in pursuit. Going to be a gain of about half a yard.
Shemwell was getting reps the first couple of weeks. You had Connor Bell out with injury, and especially in the Austin game week 1, Shemwell did a lot of good things. It looks like they're going to stick with him for the rest of the drive and could get more carries going on for the rest of MIAA play.
He's on the left side. Hip as there's trips to the near side of the field for Nichols. He's looking over the short side. Now veers back, trying to run around. About running a mile. He might have the edge on the near side. Trying to fight in. Cuts back at the 35-yard line. He's taken down. It'll be third down and about 5.
38 games in the career for Josh Nichols. This means about as much as any of them. Do you think he is thinking legacy drive, taking this all the way to the end zone?
Trying to get it within a couple scores or at least respectable length. This pass is low and short hop the intended receiver.
Yeah, it's 20. Carson Moat out there. Moat 6'5", 195. Hard to miss. Also, done an all right job as the punter today. It was just originally Jack Duggins who was punting when the Hornets had the two-punter look, and Duggins was the left-footed punter.
So with 2:32 to go in the fourth, 4th down and 5 on their own side of the field, the offense stays out because why not?
Yeah, I think you got no choice.
Trips to the far side for Nichols and timeout Kalamazoo before.
Yeah, I think this is all about the offensive coordinator upstairs, just right above our heads, John Kurjasic, and making sure he's got the personnel, the play call, everything in as perfect as possible to give you a chance on this 4th down. 4th and 5, almost certainly the run game out of play. Other teams maybe would consider sneaking in a run here. For example, I don't think Hope really would hesitate too much to run some of their top guys. Strickland, Amos, even Cal Motter that we've seen hit some long runs here. I don't think they would hesitate to run it on the 4th and 5. But Kalamazoo, I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, Kalamazoo's averaging half a yard per carry. Hope as a team is 6.4 and 9.4 for Strickland, 5.7 for Martell, and 8 for Amos. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, to say the least. When you have the offensive line to push forward, you don't mind running it on 4th and medium, on 3rd and mediums. You trust it. But when you haven't been able to get anything going, doubting that you're putting a run play, you have to trust your quarterback. Nichols with Shemwell in the backfield. It's going to be trips to the far side. That's going to be the wide side. Shemwell is on the right side. Probably going to drop him in the pass pro. Safety help on the near side as well. Too high. Man in motion, cutting back. Bounces out the receivers. Nichols looking far side. He looks through the middle. Decked on the play. Incomplete. Turnover on downs. Perfect window just off the chest to the contact. And Hope takes over with just north of 220.
Yeah, Ian Domzalski to flash in front on what looked like one of the best balls from Nichols because it's such a tight window. I think this comes down to the size and physicality of Dutch DBs. We haven't even gotten into that much, but a ton of really big guys all up and down their depth chart. Brad Raridan made a bunch of plays around the line of scrimmage, 6'4", 202. Sam Cochran, 6'3", 201. Stazowski, 6'1", 213. These are dudes all throughout that secondary.
Yeah, they like guys that can hit, to say the absolute least. Size and can hit are recipes. New quarterback in the game once again for Hope. Looks like Tyson Williams in the game. He'll turn and just give towards the middle. It's a good run through the middle for about 5 yards.
Yeah, Williams, hard to miss out there as well. He's 6'6", goes about 212. And now the whole fire sales. I think you're even making some swaps finally along the offensive line. Brett Showers, the second string tackle, just came out at that left tackle spot, and you think you're going 3 deep plus at some spots now. Oh, timeout going to come. Oh, excuse me, the 2-minute timeout just hit.
We have 2 minutes remaining in this ball game, and I feel like the second half has been a lot different than that first half, maybe due to the score at halftime. But Kalamazoo, ever since that slow start, Tanner, I have to say, you're not upset with how the Hornets have played after that quick 21-0 start.
I think I agree. There's a few big plays. When you wipe them out, it would be a vastly different ball game. Nobody likes shoulda, coulda, woulda. Nobody likes losing a rivalry game. Those wooden shoes, in all likelihood, now will stay with the Dutch. Again, it's one of the best traveling trophy traditions in the nation, truly. These are the 2 oldest schools in the MIAA. This rivalry dates back to the year 1910. The Dutch have owned it, right? This is going to be win number 62 for them, and they've lost just 35 times. It means more to everybody to play in a game like this. Having been a part of a number of them, including Kalamazoo's biggest loss in the rivalry, I know exactly what it's like. it is special no matter how it ends up.
So the changes have been made out of the 2-minute timeout. Williams going to give on the left side to another new back. In a Hope uniform, he'll pick up the first down.
Jack Duggins does make the stop. On Kalamazoo defense, I still have to point probably to Adam Stapleton as the standout. He has 2 big tackles for loss. Nobody, believe it or not, with more than 4 tackles besides him. Stapleton's got 9 of them.
Clock continues to run down. We're just north of 100 seconds remaining. 3 receivers set once again. Williams going to turn. He'll keep this one on the give. DB in to make the tackle. That's a heck of a play.
I love corners that can tackle. Have I told you that? That's Gabe Myers.
I've never heard you say that.
Right.
Never heard it. That's a great tackle for Myers.
Yeah, that's the pride of Martin, Michigan out there. Has usually unenviable tasks, covering really, really quick wide receivers there as he steps up and knocks that one down. It's a big play for him.
It's going to be second down and long after the first down keep didn't go much. Williams turns and gives. A little stutter through the middle, fighting forward for another 2 yards of hidden rushes. It's Noah Dunkel in the game at back. And the clock just continues to tick, and I don't think Hope's going for the 50. I think they're just elected to run this clock out and leave this ball game tenor.
Yeah, now they've finally most likely made the business decision as Dunkel, just one more back to add a carry on there. It's probably the right way to handle this. Stay healthy and protect your guys. Get out of here.
It's going to be 6 different backs with carries as this one's going to go inside the 10 on the left side of the line all the way to the 6. Does Hope on another play as they don't need to. Only 20 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, they'll have to make a decision. They look to the sideline, and I think they're going to sit on it. That's never a guarantee with this coaching staff, with the way that they can move the ball. But it is a show of respect.
Tanner, I'll give it to you after this. I'll give it to you for the conclusion of it to take it away. But 49-18, Hope's going to walk away with the win.
They are. This is going to move them, in all likelihood, beyond 18th in the nation. That's what they came in ranked today. This team must feel that they can be the number 1 in the nation. They must feel that they can run the table in the MIAA. Incredibly difficult to do. Great football teams. They've already beaten Kalamazoo coming in, who was 4-1 to this game. They've already beaten Alma, who was nationally ranked, knocked them out of the rankings. If they run the table, the sky is sort of the limit, I think, in the postseason run. Alma was the one to make the postseason and run to the national semis last year, and Hope really believes that they can be that team this year. Coach Sersma, absolutely no stranger to winning, hasn't had all of the postseason success that he would like. This may be their year.
Yeah, they played a phenomenal game, and Kalamazoo reacted well after the 21-0. After that, it was 28-18, and they really fought after that. You can think the game plan for Hope changed a little bit, but can't take away the fight from the Hornets after, so at least there's something to look forward to before next weekend's Albion.
There is. As we mentioned, the Hornets will be traveling to Albion next week. It'll be back here in about 3 weeks' time. Yes, unfortunately, a couple of back-to-back road games. However, last year we got no home games in November. That's something to think about. Now, as you flip around with home and home series, they'll end with a couple of home games in November, and those should be fantastic. That passing record for Josh Nichols will have to wait at least the one more week, but he goes 24 of 43, couple of touchdowns. You had one, of course, to Lucas Hannafin. Hey, is that anything new? Is that guy pretty good at football? 8 touchdowns in 6 games. He's the leading receiver, 7 for 57. Jaquez James adding that 1 touchdown himself from 19 yards out. Congratulations, Jock, for the first touchdown. Rushing numbers, of course, not going to look so pretty, but the sack yardage factored in there, that matters.
Yeah, but for Hope it doesn't matter because for Hope that rushing attack just is it's deadly. It's got to be one of the best in the entire country for Division III. I'd have to imagine there's not many teams that can run the ball like Hope does.
Well, Sean, once again, I have to say thank you for joining me. Different result this time. Still ended up being a very entertaining football game. The second half, Kalamazoo making strides, but it's going to be 3 weeks before we see them back here at Angel.
Yeah, take away the 21-0 start. Kalamazoo worked great. I think they just kind of played the moment too high. I think they kind of played themselves out of the moment, psyched themselves out a little bit. But a lot to look forward to. Last 4 games of the year, it's a doable schedule in terms of walking away on that last 4 at least 500, if not 3-1.
Yeah, and that 7-win mark would mean a ton. Again, I was a part of that 7-3 team in 2018, the team that we're still waiting on the Hall of Fame call, by the way. Unfortunately, didn't get it this year, but we'll hope to see it eventually. That team started 7-0, and a lot of similarities to this one. You do have Hope celebrating now a little bit. Their Coach Sturzman's out there, breaking it down. And we're about to break it down and get out of here. 3:41 p.m. wrapped up rather quick and smooth. So, for Tanner White, for Sean Massa, we got to say thank you so much for joining us. It's homecoming here in Kalamazoo. In fact, I'll be heading over to Mackenzie Field. 5 p.m. kickoff with women's soccer taking on Trine. Sean, I imagine you'll be heading home, but you said you got to go to work first.
Have to. It's the responsibilities I'm back at home, but it was a good trip out to Kalamazoo. Not necessarily the result they wanted, but played pretty decent football, especially in the last 3 quarters against a Hope team that is probably way better than that 18 ranking.
Yes, most likely. Both teams going forward, so much more to play for here in the MIAA. Tanner White and Sean Massa once more from Angel Field, and we thank you so much for joining us.